Welcome to another edition of Banter and Babble. Yes, we are back. Tone, it has been 2 weeks.
2 or 3.
Joining me always, my esteemed colleague, Mr. Fanboytone. Tone, as we just said, 2 weeks, dude. It's been 2 weeks since we've done a show. Yes, we are still alive. I can't guarantee we'll live through the show. We got some paint fumes down here already.
It's true.
And so if we kind of like pass out on air, if you see us kind of getting a little fuzzy, go ahead and call 911.
Call the amber lamps.
Call the amber lamps. My wife would be like, well, just wait till he's gone. That way she can get the life insurance and be good to go.
Little do you know, it's part of my plan as well to get that life insurance.
Wow, you guys are both scumbags. My wife and my co-host are scumbags. Yeah, we're huffing paint, Crash. Ladies and gentlemen, we have missed you all so very much. We apologize deeply for the brief hiatus. We are still under construction down here, but I said last week we're doing a fucking show, and damn it, I meant it. We're doing a show.
We are.
And it's going to be funny. As soon as we're done with this show, I have to take everything out of this room and cover the rest of this stuff up. And then they're going to spray paint the ceiling and have this all done by this weekend. And finally, next week, we can be done with this stuff, man. It's been just a chaotic 2 weeks, having contractors coming into the house. Even though I love what they've done. The kitchen looks great. The dining room has some new changes to it. But we have recessed lighting in the basement now. Once the ceiling is painted, and I can just finally sit down and relax, not have people in the house working on stuff. It has been chaotic, dude.
Really? With basement stuff?
Oh, but
Has it been?
But let me
Has it been?
Pass the mic over to this guy. And Tone,
Yeah.
last time we talked, last time we did a show, your basement was coming together nicely. It was looking beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then a minor setback, or are we going to call it a major catastrophe?
It was literally a major disaster.
Tone, what happened in the basement, bruh?
As the plumber was putting in the new throne downstairs, which alone is a very expensive toilet because it's, downstairs in a basement. You have to have the apparatus. It's got to be mechanicalized. It's plugged in, actually. While he was doing that, in the midst of 4 days of rain and Noah's Ark floating by, the outside drain where the outside access door was decided to start spewing water out of my foundation because there was my entire tiling and drainage after so much time will fill with dirt and can back up, and did. And for about roughly a day, there was probably about a half inch to an inch sometimes in some spots of water on my new-ish drywall.
But that's fixable. I mean, that's the worst thing that happened, right?
No, because then what happened else with that in the midst of that?
Oh, this is the worst. This is the worst.
The main pipeline that comes from the shitters and the showers upstairs, which luckily a lot of them were new and clean, and he had drained a lot because he was doing that stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's the good news. In the small soffit, the pipe had actually, because the first guy this always comes back to the first guy.
The first guy who was an idiot
was if I ever see him.
Uh-oh.
The pipe came undone.
Oh, no.
And when he's like, go ahead and go test, we're all hooked up.
Oh, no.
This is after we noticed it leaking a little bit, but we're like, that might be from the rain outside or something's going on, right? Go upstairs. What do you do? You turn on a couple faucets, flush both toilets, whatever it is, and all of that fucking water just exited.
Oh, my God.
Like this. So I still have a hole in the ceiling part for right now. We've got an idea how we're going to do that. We're going to do a paneling setup. We're not going to do straight up drywall now. We'll do paneling so we have access to it.
Yes, good call.
The plumber says it should and could be redone a little bit because of the way it's set up isn't perfect. He's like, we haven't had a problem in a year and a half. It might not ever be another problem. If it does, it's not the end of the world, because otherwise, if I had him do it, ladies and gentlemen, I would have had to pull down parts of my ceiling again and be back at near square one.
Right.
And I'm not willing to do that right now. So we're going to put some paneling so we have access to it. And maybe in the future, I need to lick my wounds and recover some of the money that I've already had to spend in the entire thing, doing all this stuff. So for right now, we're keeping that open. We're going to do some, like I said, I don't know if we're going to do actual drop ceiling paneling or what we're going to do. We're going to come up with something just so it's blocked off and you can't see it eventually anyways because, it's a fucking pipe.
Right.
In the middle of this thing. And then I'm waiting on the restoration company to figure out what and how exactly when they're going to do potentially if they need to fix that drywall. So from what I understand, drywall would have to be a long time consistently of water getting damaged onto it.
Right.
A day of that might not necessarily mean it's got to be replaced. So, I don't know. Fingers crossed. We'll see. The luck has not been good so far. So, yeah, 2 weeks ago, things were fine, moving along, and then travesty and disasters hit. So, we're there right now. It's very frustrating because I had things planned coming up and things I wanted to do. Draston's coming into town next week.
Yep.
And, I don't have that space available. I mean, literally the day after this leak happened, by the way, or 2 days, my new downstairs refrigerator came in, a 10-foot cubic square for just beer came in.
It's a good refrigerator.
And it's still upstairs right now because we're like, well, why put anything down there unless we got to tear the walls apart?
Yeah, that's dude. You guys, when this happened, Tone sent us a message, and I heard in his voice, and I was like, his family is in immediate danger. Anybody within a 5-mile radius is in imminent danger, because I thought he was going to go ballistic.
And honestly, I probably normally would, but I'll be very honest. I was so defeated at that point.
Yeah,
I didn't even have it.
Energy.
A lot of people know in the community, last week especially, I don't have a lot of time to get on social media due to my job now.
Mm-hmm.
But last week especially, I told everybody, you're not going to see me a whole lot this week. I can't even. I don't have the thought process, don't have the time or anything like that. So, but this last weekend was good. I managed to have some fun this last weekend.
Awesome.
Do some little bit of minor traveling.
Yeah, what'd you go do? What'd you go see? You went and saw something.
Did go see Slipknot
Ooh,
on Saturday.
And how was Slipknot?
That was incredible because when you're one of the greatest bands of all time, you always put on a fantastic show. So it was amazing.
Where was that at? DTE?
Well, Pine Knob.
Pine
yes.
Knob. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Even Corey Taylor says he's like, I know there's a different name out there, but this will always be Pine Knob to us. We've been coming here for 22 years. It's still Pine Knob.
Right.
So he knows how to play a crowd because he's good like that. But, flex seal the bottom 3 inches of the wall. That's a good idea, Tricky. I appreciate that. It's even with the vinyl, I'll have to figure that out. But,
Tricky he's a know-it-all when it comes to that home fix it yourself, do it yourself shit.
He did offer my assistance or his assistance if I needed some help, which I appreciate, and I actually might take him up on some of that because I don't.
Ooh.
So. But he's the man. So
he is the man. Tricky is the man. And by the way, if you're not doing anything during the day, Tricky is always putting together watch parties in the Discord. So if you're not in the B&B Discord, you should be, because during the day, Tricky is just showcasing all sorts of horror movies for the month of October.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing some great flicks in there. So make sure you get into the Discord. And during the day, he's always got something playing in there. So we appreciate him doing that. Trick, aren't you supposed to be working, though? That's weird. That's odd.
Weird.
That's weird, Trick.
Weird.
Must be nice having a job where you can watch movies all day. Not you. Oh, yeah. Not you. Yeah, that's Trick.
Must be another Tricky.
Jay Hill, thank you so much for that subscription. 10 months in a row, my man.
Appreciate
Jay
you.
Hill, appreciate that, man. But, so we've been doing that.
Yeah.
I've been doing bullshit down here. I think we're both just really excited to be done with everything when it comes to homeowners and what it takes to make your house your home.
You just want to spend Saturday watching Michigan State and drink some beers.
I just want to sit downstairs and get drunk.
Yeah.
This is
that's
my
all
sanctuary.
I want. Yeah,
this is my church down here, and I want to come down here and just drink the ceremonial wine nonstop until I throw up.
That's all I want.
That's really what the basement is for. It's a man cave for a reason. That's where it's where I get away.
That's right.
And I can't dude, seriously, I'm so pissed because one of the games we're going to talk about here in a little bit, Far Cry 6 comes out tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to play that shit until Monday at least. But there's something else coming out this week that we're going to talk about that I will be able to play because I won't have to be stuck down in the basement.
True.
Can take it right upstairs. But we'll get to that momentarily. Tone, what are we drinking tonight?
Well, if you know anything about me, which some of you might not know this because it's very obscure, I actually have a very big love for aquatic life, specifically with whales.
You do.
So it was really exciting when I opened this up. And Sierra Nevada has been around for a while. This is the brewing company, and some of their beers are real hit or miss. They're a little more commercially than most. I don't know. They're probably a microbrew, but I know Half-Ass could probably dive into that a little bit more. But found this Narwhal Imperial Stout limited edition. I've never seen it before, and you know what? It's not
tasty.
bad. It's actually. I thought this would go the other way, and it's actually pretty good. It's definitely hefty. Yeah, it's a boozy, a little 10%.
10%. So, for the show where we have 4 movies to review, it's going to be a long show, so good chance we're going to be fucking drunk big time by the time the show comes to a close. But, no, I mean, yeah, this is good beer. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight. One more thing we want to throw out there. Right now, the Entertainment Geekly stream team is putting together a giveaway. A happy Halloween giveaway. They're giving away a diamond glitter pop vinyl. The Mayor from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And this is open worldwide. If you would like a chance to win this, you need to go over to right here in this link. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Should be right there in the chat. Click on that. Go over and enter for a chance to win. Now, Tone, what is the unique thing about a diamond glitter pop?
They are I believe it's a rare version of Funko Pops. My brain just like stopped. From what I understand, they're more rare, limited.
Very rare and very limited.
Yeah, so I don't know whether or not if they're considered like super exclusive. I know some of the diamond ones that I've seen in the past have been like a higher ticket dollar, but I know bottom line is diamonds more rare. It's more valuable. Of course, this is Nightmare Before Christmas. Everybody seems to be a fan of that. There you go. Boom. You want it? It's not. You got to follow the link, everybody, there that he just posted right there in the chat. I can't talk very well, but
the 10% beer is already hitting them.
Oh boy. Yeah, follow that link. Enter in for a chance to win. Appreciate you, Geekly, Miss Cannon, and all the crew for getting that going for everybody. Pretty cool.
Pretty dope.
Worldwide.
This is open worldwide. So no matter where you're at, they will. If you win, they are going to send you the diamond glitter pop vinyl of the Mayor from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Ooh, and Cherry Squishy, or no, who is it? Cherry Squishy? Oh no, it's Blanco. That movie is meh. It's Timmy Burton though. How can Tim Burton not be meh? Other than Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I've always pretty much liked Tim Burton movies.
Yeah, I don't. As far as that goes, I like the movie. I enjoy it. I get why it's popular. I don't understand the cultural thing with that. I've never understood that. Even as a kid, I've never understood the over fascination with it. But whatever. There's a lot worse things that scratch my mind, and we'll get to that later in this.
Oh, you mean there's worse movies out there, Tone?
Absolutely.
Like really, really bad movies?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait till we talk about that. Is there anything else we need to address? I mean, have we pretty much hit on everything? We talk about how life is terrible for the house.
Yep. The basements are bullshit. Don't ever have one.
Got the E-Geekly giveaway. The totally badass pop vinyl.
Yep.
We're talking about what we're drinking. So, when are we going to talk about Visions? Ooh, that's probably going to be next week.
You didn't finish it.
I haven't even started it.
Oh, fuck. I did finish it.
Did you finish it?
Yeah. I still think episode 1's the best one out of all of them.
Oh, really? So that means he watched the first one, didn't watch the rest, you guys.
All of them.
Don't fucking buy it. Okay. That means he watched the first one, and that was it.
What the fuck ever.
What a liar. All right. Let's move on to our first topic. Tone, this is a game that is in a unique position right now to make some big noise when it launches in December, mainly because the other two popular shooters coming out this fall, the annual Call of Duty and the Whenever Battlefield, both of these games have come. Our Battlefield is in the midst of its beta. Call of Duty had its beta a couple weeks ago, and both of them are just being met with all sorts of harsh criticism from players. Nobody was happy with Call of Duty. Dude, this might be the least talked about Call of Duty game I can think of in recent memory. Nobody is excited. There is no buzz for Call of Duty Vanguard. The multiplayer, the beta was just, it was so just blah, according to a lot of folks. I mean, the general consensus, it was really, really blah. Like, it does nothing new, and there's just so many decisions made with its design and the way it's set up. There's a lot of people that aren't happy with Call of Duty.
I gotta at least say this on this. Like, and here's the thing: as somebody that doesn't like Call of Duty, I liked Modern Warfare. Why in the fuck? I know why in the fuck they didn't do it, but why didn't they just use that game as a game that they could build off from for a couple of years? Like, I mean, is it because of the cross generation? Maybe, but why don't you just use that game and just revamp it for the next gen systems and cut out the others if you need to or whatever you got to do.
Mhm.
But just build that as like a sandbox starter, and then just do like Destiny does or whatever game, and just here's your expansions. Not just maps, but expansions. That game was so fucking good and so well received.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever has come out after that, I've hardly heard anything about.
Yeah,
honestly,
it's crazy. And I particularly liked when I saw in the beta how this is like, Vanguard is what I think it's World War II, and but there are people putting red dot sights on World War II weapons. Everyone's like, how the fuck? Wait, what? There were red dots back in World War II?
Who was it? Who's doing this? Like, what is it? Sledgehammer?
This is Sledgehammer, I believe.
There you go.
Yeah,
well, I just
Sledgehammer
answered your
games.
fucking question. There you go. That's why.
If
If it's not the other two, I swear to God, fucking Sledgehammer.
and didn't they make your Advanced Warfare that you thought was amazing?
I don't even.
Or
know
no,
what
you
you're
like
talking
Ghosts. You like Ghosts.
about. I don't think that was Infinity Ward still.
Was that Infinity Ward?
Yeah, because it was still like the Modern Warfare esque.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but
whatever.
it wasn't true. It's never been true Infinity Ward since everybody split and went to Respawn.
That's true. That's true as well. Anyway, so Call of Duty Vanguard was met with kind of like this blah. Like, it's not all that great. And now Battlefield 2042, that beta just dropped today for open access for early adopters.
Is that the game that we talked about a couple months ago? And we're like, we're not sure about.
I'm not too sure. I mean, it's Battlefield, but I mean, it can't be that bad. A lot of people are coming out. I mean, a lot of people have been really disappointed with this beta so far. Very glitchy. My understanding, I haven't played it, so I don't know for sure. I'm just going based off social media. People that I trust. I trust their opinions of games. A lot of people are kind of underwhelmed by what they're seeing so far. Now, my understanding is, per somebody at DICE, this build of the game is very old. It's an older build, but I mean, they probably throw that out there to either cover their ass. I don't know. It's EA, so I'm assuming it's some kind of sketchy bullshit.
Right.
But it's been an underwhelming open beta early on. Now, when more people get in, will the balance shift? Will people be happy with it? Remains to be seen. We're not sure. This weekend will be very, very telling. But then you have Halo Infinite. After a year-long delay, has had multiple tech previews. And by all accounts, a lot of people are really liking what they're playing with the multiplayer, with the Infinite Halo Infinite beta.
You scroll Twitter right now, it's a lot of talk right now, especially after the Battlefield betas come out. Everybody's going like, well, so far, so Halo is the one that's kind of leading out there right now.
In terms of buzz, in terms of excitement, and what people are talking about on social media, everything is pointing towards Halo having a massive launch and being the game to play, the first-person shooter to play this fall, which is crazy considering Battlefield and Call of Duty are in that fold. And, we've played the technical test. We played through the last couple of them.
I've played a lot.
And you played a lot. And I think this is going to be a good conversation because, I'm not a Halo guy, but I do like first-person shooters. I've been yearning for a much more simplified shooter, so to speak, not in terms of how it's played, but of everything that's going on with it. I love Destiny 2. I love the PvE elements of that, but the Crucible side of things, the PvP side of things has been kind of just lacking a little bit, or I don't want to say lacking. It's just not doing anything for me anymore. But I still love Destiny 2. I'll still play the PvE side of it. When the Witch Queen drops, I'll be on the PvE side of things. Right. But when it comes to PvP, I need something that isn't built around your abilities or your ultimate or airstrikes or kill streaks or any of that bullshit. I need a shooter where I can just sit down, play with the squad, and get good at the fucking game and just have it be gunplay versus gunplay. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's the grappling hook, but I like the way they have the grappling hook implemented. It's only got a certain amount of uses. It can't be used over and over and over again, so you got to be kind of tactical with it. But Tone, I'm going to come over to you first. I want to get your initial impressions of what you played of the Halo Infinite beta, simply because you were a Halo guy. You've played a lot of Halo. You and Prime Daddy have played a lot of fucking Halo over the years. I know you have mixed feelings with Halo 5. You've got... Oh, that's putting it lightly. I know. But let's get your initial thoughts, man. What have you experienced when you're playing the Halo Infinite beta so far?
Honestly, it's been many years since I played a Halo that wasn't the Master Chief Collection or something older, because I didn't like 5. That was this fun and felt like Halo and felt more like Halo. Halo 5 never felt like Halo. Sure, there were times you'd be doing certain things or whatever, maybe Fiesta when we would do it with the the communities and stuff like that. But it just Prime, you're a fucking liar. I saw that. By the way, I saw the scoreboard the other night.
Yeah,
that is far from true,
Prime,
sir.
I got a couple screenshots of the scoreboard, so
yeah, buddy. I don't know about that.
I love you, man, but
Yeah.
I've got evidence suggesting otherwise. Continue.
There was some single digits a lot up there for you, so that's all right, though.
Yeah, a little concerned about
It's
that
been
statement.
about 10 years. You're never going to get there. But anyways,
Sure, I'm going to buy that one,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
So, honestly, so 2 weekends ago, in the midst of all this bullshit going on in my fucking house, I'm like, oh yeah, the Halo beta's out. I'm gonna fucking finally play it because I missed out on the first early ones, and I needed something just to kind of like relax and take my mind off it. And I'm not shitting you. I played I got on before the times were open, and I didn't realize there was actual times, which there to a degree I find stupid, but I also understand why they did that. It makes sense. So I would just get in the armory and fuck around. I'd play with bots, and I was like, okay, first of all, this is cool. You can play bots when you want to. Like, that's kind of cool. You can crank up the difficulty and be like, oh, you can crank up the difficulty. So that's good. Like, when you don't want to play online or deal with any bullshit.
That's how Tone validates
maybe,
himself.
get
Halo. He plays against the bots on
more about
hard
practicing.
difficulty.
More about practicing than anything. But
Map
I was like,
awareness.
But yeah, exactly. Like, you can kind of practice that shit. And I instantly I was like, wow, this feels like Halo. Like, holy shit. Like, this actually feels like Halo. Like, things that I would do in the past in Halo, I couldn't do in Halo 5 because it would it wouldn't work right. It just again was not Halo to me. But this felt like Halo. So when finally the servers went on board, I played for like an hour straight, and I was like, by the time I was doing like going ham on team deathmatching, doing like double digits, like hitting 16s, hitting 20s, I was like, this is fucking Halo, and this is awesome. Like, holy shit, this is a good time. So finally, you guys decided to play, of course, this last weekend. We got a chance to get some people in there, and it's really fun to feel that again with Halo. And before I get too far off track, I do want to point out Zach said something out there. He said Halo is outstanding from what he's played so far. Multiplayer being free is going to be such a boom for the game.
Massive.
That's a great point. And I think this is one of those occasions where you have to give. We definitely criticize. We like Game Pass. We criticize sometimes Microsoft's decisions on some of that and some of the games they present and how people defend that. That said, we do agree that I definitely think it's a good value. But this is one of those this instances where this is going to be important for a franchise for them.
Oh, absolutely.
That they are doing that for free and being on Game Pass because this might make or break somebody's wallet as it always does. But this actually could really breathe life into a franchise that really hasn't done so well over the last decade, and partly because Xbox One sales kind of sucked.
Yep.
Halo 5 sucked, so there was a lot of things going on there. But this felt like Halo. It felt like, and even though 3 is not like a lot of my favorites, there's a lot of young folk out there younger than me that really enjoyed that. I was the old guy and didn't like it as much as like 2.
Mm-hmm.
But this does have elements of 3. It's got the pacing of 5, which is good. It just feels like more of something that we would have played, in the late or early gen of 360 of Halo, and that's the whole point, is that it feels like Halo. It's back to the importance of holding down those weapons,
power weapons,
yep. holding those respawns down, holding certain map points down instead of everybody just running around with a pistol and doing like bullshit shooting with it and not none of the weapons mattered in 5 except the pistol, and that was really annoying. So this felt like Halo, and I tell you what, like, us playing it was a good time. I know it's really trivial probably to hear it, but like, even though we were dying and a couple times getting our ass kicked by some people that are playing together, there was some
studs on there, yeah,
right. But what you didn't find was Prime and me getting ragey about it. We were actually laughing about some of the kills because some of the shit was entertaining, and some of the stuff, and again, it because it felt more like Halo. There
was a sweet video where Prime was he posted in our chat we're in, where he took out somebody that was driving a Banshee, or not a Banshee, a Warthog.
He was in the Warthog, and this ghost come out of nowhere. It was a guy, and I was like, I was driving the Warthog, or vice versa, and I jumped out because I thought we were going to go off the side. And I threw a grenade at the ghost as it hit the Warthog, and they were pushing Prime off at the same time, and the grenade hits, and it just blasts them off the side of the fucking map. And as Prime's falling,
he jumps into
he loaded into the Warthog or the ghost, whatever it was. It was pretty funny. So.
Yeah, it was a pretty funny video, and these guys had a good time. Prime and Tony were having a great time. They were laughing and having a good time. I made the decision of hopping on to Halo after a night of just horrible sleep and hungover. And when you're playing in arena, or in any mode, where the big team battle was on there, we did that first. I had the shortest of fuses that night, and I was raging big time.
Yeah.
I was most displeased, but not because of the game itself, but just because my inability to be fucking effective at all when we were playing. But I think the beta, the one thing that stands out, after hopping to the beta for the last couple of weeks that it's been out, is the game looks really good. When we had our first reveal last year, there was the Craig meme and all that shit, and everyone
Potato
made fun.
face.
And rightfully so. The game did not look good last year.
No.
It didn't look good with the reveal. Now this game looks really good. It's a clean-looking game. It runs smooth. The animations, especially when you get pop off headshots and people are running at you, and the momentum and the physics that come into play, it's a very impressive-looking game. Like 343 is really coming around. It's a good-looking game. I'm glad they delayed it. And for the most part, I think there was a couple issues we had loading in, but obviously it's a technical test. That's what's to be expected. For the most part, this went off without a hitch. This was running very, very well. So, I am not too concerned. Even then, look, man, it's an online game. At launch, I expect there to be issues. It's a free-to-play fucking title. It's a free-to-play multiplayer. There's going to be a lot of people playing this game. I don't expect them to be 100% prepared. I expect them to do their best, but I expect there to be issues at launch. But, for the most part, it worked good. Now, for the game itself, sans the raging portion of it, I really like the way this game feels. I like being able to jump in and not worrying about watching my ultimate and not worrying about am I going to get frozen by stasis or somebody camping to build up a fucking airstrike to drop on us. This is straight gunplay.
Old school arena shooting.
And it feels really, really, really good. Like the weapons feel good. But, for somebody like myself, I am still pretty much a noob at Halo. There is a steep learning curve to this game. And that's part of where the rage came from. I can typically get into a first-person shooter with an AR, and I can make some noise, in some games. I can be, I can be really, really strong first-person shooter player, and then, I'll be middle of the pack, but I can do pretty good at first-person shooters. I was struggling in some matches in this game just because I don't have my head wrapped around the mechanics of some of the weapons, how you should utilize them. I'm an AR guy. I love assault rifles in all my games. And the assault rifle in this game, again, it's because I don't know how to utilize it with with the pistol specifically. And I know, I want to get the battle rifle. And I love the battle rifle. I do like using that. But goddamn it, when I start off with an assault rifle, and it's part of the fact that I want to be effective. I want to get in there and be efficient with any fucking gun I'm given. And for whatever reason, I was just booty with that AR.
Halo's all timing.
It is. It's all about timing. It's all about, and honestly, it's probably a lot to do with weapon, the damage fall off. Some of the AR shots, I'm probably, in hindsight, thinking I was too fucking far away. I wasn't firing in bursts. I don't know what the spread is like on some of these guns yet. So there's a lot I have to learn, and it's a little overwhelming. And if you're not prepared to learn, it can be frustrating. It's not an it's accessible to a degree, but if you want to get good at the game, you got to put the time into it. It's not like Call of Duty where you can just sit there and play and just be good because it's a shooter. It's different. There's a different feel to Halo games. But a couple of matches where I was doing it, I was like, okay, I'm starting to come around. I'm starting to figure it out. But, man, like you guys said, there were a couple of matches we went in and just got our shit pushed in. Not immediately. You were like, wow, this game's already over. This match is over.
You can tell right away.
Because you can tell the team. And I think part of it is when we go up against these teams who just run us into the ground, I'm just like, that's what I want us to be like.
Yeah.
That's what I want us to be like.
Yeah, we're definitely medium small map players. We don't like the big team battles as much because it's
like the big team battle. I know there was a lot of hype behind that, and there were some cool videos on social media, people doing some crazy shit, especially with the grappling hook. But the big team battle, it's chaotic, but that's just not the type of multiplayer I'm looking to play anymore. I think it's cool. And Prime mentioned, it's probably a lot of fun if you have 10 friends and you jump in there and everyone's going fucking crazy and doing whatever. it's probably a lot of fun with that. But for myself, I want to get in there and just do the small arena, the competitive stuff with a smaller squad, more intimate setting, and just play it that way. I mean, big team battle is great. It's cool, but I've seen it in other games. I want to do the smaller arena stuff.
I always still, and again, and I listen, at the end of the day, for me, I don't play a lot of first-person shooters. That's well known. I'm not a fan of them. Halo is just one of the ones that I am, and Halo 5 is probably the one outside of 3 that I played the less of. I think I probably played less. Actually, I played more 5 than 3, truth be told. But I love the games in Halo. Like, I love Skull. I love Bomb. I can't even get all the names right, but I love King of the Hill. King of the Hill is one of my favorites, and I definitely love CTF in Halo.
Capture the flag.
I am that guy. Like, you will find, I will have my hands on a flag more than most people.
And the thing is, man, that's one moment when we were playing. I was like, we actually had kind of a system going for a little bit. Like, we got to find. I got to learn how you guys play it. I haven't done a lot of capture the flag, but I understand the concept behind it. And watching you guys play, I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's do it. I have done SWAT before. SWAT is pretty fun.
I played a lot of SWAT in Halo
SWAT.
4 actually,
like
and that was one of the main things that we played. A late friend of mine, R.I.P. Like, me and him, we played the shit out of some SWAT in Halo 4, and we would go ham on some fuckers.
Yeah.
I mean, just go ham. Like, we would play like them teams that were crushing us a couple times the other night. So, but anyways, at the end of the day, Halo's always got a lot of variety. Personally, my favorite mode has always been Lone Wolf, so I can't wait to see what that looks like in this game.
What's Lone Wolf?
1v everybody. That's my favorite mode.
Oh, is it just free for all?
Halo favorite mode in Halo is always free for all.
Oh, really?
That's my mode.
That's your mode?
That's my mode.
Okay.
Since Halo 2, that was my mode. So I'm excited to see what that looks like in this game. I played a lot of that in Halo 4, in King of the Hill or whatever it was, the King Slayer, whatever it was in that game, and I was, real good at that and really enjoyed that. Like, I'd be the top 3 spot pretty much every time. That's my jam. But
what's the one where it's all headshots?
That's SWAT.
That's SWAT. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
If you want to get good at Halo, that's
the one you want to do because it forces you to get good with the aim, especially with all the different weapons.
Yes.
But the other thing I want to mention that I really would recommend everyone do, especially if you're new to Halo, if you're not experienced at it, is, man, get into those settings. The control settings,
very finite.
It is,
so
dude. It can be overwhelming to look at. Honestly, I was looking at it, I was like, holy shit, there's a fucking ton of stuff that I need to tweak in here before this game comes out or when it comes out. I mean, and that's what's cool about the range is you can go in there and try out the different weapons and then go right into your settings, tweak stuff, the dead zone. But I mean, there's a ton of stuff in those settings. And, one of the things you guys mentioned, like, I want to use the right bumper for Melee. And that's how I played Destiny 2. But I couldn't find it in there to change it up so I could have that. And I kept multiple times. I'd be up on somebody to do the melee, and I'd hit the R1, and nothing would happen. I was like, God damn it.
That was part of your frustration.
Part of it. But then I did notice that there's a section where you can customize all the controls. And I'm just like, oh, man, I'm going to go in there and like change all the buttons around. So if you're new to Halo and you want to get those settings down, don't be overwhelmed by that control section. Get in there. Seriously, there is a ton of shit to adjust.
I actually play pseudo legacy controls. I use my right stick for Halo to zoom in, and my left trigger is my frag.
Do you still use the stick to zoom in? Interesting.
That's how I've always played Halo. If I try doing it else, it throws me off a little bit. I can get into it because the more modernization of it does work. Halo 5 was kind of more set up like that. I think that's really when they kind of ushered it in. Maybe 4, I don't know. But I still always revert back to those older school controls because that's what works for me. That's weird. I know it's weird to think but when you think about it, very honestly, I'm gonna be that guy that clicking that right stick in to do that. I feel like it gives you more freedom to move your hands faster on the controller. That's just my thoughts on it.
Interesting. That's interesting.
It's a weird one, but
at the end of the day, man, like I was really happy with what I played. I was frustrated, but it was more so with myself, not so much with the game, because I did have a couple of good matches in there. And again, when you get down to it, and I think that's what's exciting about it, is when you do have those good matches and you're not relying on your abilities and your super and your ult or your ultimate or calling in airstrikes and kill streaks, when it's just down to skill. That's the most rewarding thing.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm really excited for this game to launch in December. And based on what I've seen, obviously I didn't play the Call of Duty beta. I'm not going to be in the Battlefield beta. I actually don't have either of these games pre-ordered. And you know me, man. Normally when Call of Duty is announced, I pre-order that fucking Steelbook and I have it ready to go. This is a Call of Duty game I am not buying at launch. And the first time, and I've said that before in the past, and I bought it, and I'm like, you know what? It's not happening. It just doesn't do anything for me anymore. It really doesn't do it. I need something that is challenging that I can play with as a squad and have fun with it. Then when you really find out just how much you suck. I mean, honestly, I have no problem admitting, man, I'm fucking trash at Halo. I'm trash at Halo, but yeah, we're gonna get together every week and we're gonna get good, be reconciled, and that's like the point of it, man. Like that's why I'm excited about this game to drop, because we have plans. When December hits, we're gonna have a Friday night raid stream. Tone, myself, Prime, we're all gonna have, and whoever else, if anybody else wants to fucking play and make it a weekly thing, we are going to sit there and grind this game out and get good at it, because this is what I want. I need a competitive shooter in my life. I need something where I can sit down with a bunch of guys, coordinate, and if Sony isn't going to give me a fucking SOCOM, then damn it, I guess I'm going to be playing fucking Halo. And because Halo is the closest thing to a tactical competitive shooter that doesn't rely on all the other bullshit. And I'm down with that, dude. I'm excited for it. Now, the big question still remains, can 343 deliver a campaign? Because that is an important part. And I think Prime would agree. Prime understands that the campaign is a huge part of what makes Halo special. And you know this too.
They delivered hard on Halo 4, and then 5, like I
thought 5 was a good campaign.
Hey, I'm a Halo guy, and I loved the fucking campaign. I thought it was awesome.
I didn't have a problem with it being, but then again, I didn't play through 1, 2, 3, 4, so I didn't have that attachment to Chief. I mean, I know who Chief is. I know he's the face of Halo, but I didn't have an issue with the focus being on Locke in Halo 5. I thought it was a good story.
I get why people were weirded out about it. I understand a lot of that, but I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I dug the campaign too. I thought it was cool. Like, I like Michael Coulter. I liked Locke. I liked you could watch like the series on the Halo channel and get caught up to, some of these characters, or the Forward on to Dawn, all that stuff they were doing. Like, for a while with 4, they were really trying to integrate a lot of things, and then the popularity dropped off because Halo just didn't get received very well across the board, and all that awesome shit, the extra stuff just kind of stopped. It's really unfortunate.
Look at the Miz coming in here flexing. Going to play this a lot, but I don't have a big enough backpack for all of you.
Okay, Miz. Goon.
They were all the same rinse and repeat story. Wake up, do shit, make shit go boom, driving the last level while more shit goes boom. Reach was the best. I've heard that often about Reach. I've heard Reach
is definitely in the top.
Is a really, really good campaign.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's gonna be the biggest thing. And I know Prime is excited about the campaign, and I'm excited to do it. But I won't lie, I was really excited about the co-op portion of it, which obviously won't be there at launch, which is a little bit disappointing. Which means I have to go through and play 2, 3, 4, and Reach before I can jump into the campaign of 5, because I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm not 5, but of Infinite.
Reach you wouldn't have to worry about so much, but I mean, unless they do some crazy callbacks to that. Reach is technically a prequel to the whole series, so Reach is just a really good story, and like that was like debatably the best Halo, just because I mean, I love all the armor stuff, the gunplay, everything was really nice and tight. But yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But you would definitely, I definitely don't worry about 1 so much, and there's some things you can read up on that. Definitely 2, 3 is still worth it. 4 gets really fucking wild.
Mm-hmm.
ODST wouldn't be necessarily, but some of the characters in 5 end up from ODST, which is really cool. So
right.
But 5 would definitely be important too for that. But
gonna have to get around to these stories. The flights were so good, absolutely abysmal on an Xbox One S, but on PC it rocks. Oh, was it really that bad on the One S? It's 30 frames, isn't it, on Xbox One and Xbox One S? I think it's capped at 30, isn't it, Peace? I think it's capped at 30. It might even be on Xbox One X. I don't know if it is or not, but it was running smooth on the Series. That's for sure. It was running real smooth on the Series
30.
X. So, I mean, now my understanding is they made it sound like, that's the end of this technical test and all this stuff. But they said, and I think there was an email that had come out, if you're interested in future stuff, sign up. We'll let you know. So, will there be something else before launch? It's possible.
Right,
it'd be pretty cool.
Nug.
But we don't really know what other plans they have in terms of like a beta or getting there and try out the multiplayer. So, but overall, again, the impressions and the buzz surrounding Halo Infinite multiplayer exceeding that of Call of Duty and both Battlefield 2042. There's just a lot of hype right now for this game and a lot of question marks for those ones. Microsoft is in a position to have the biggest first-person shooter on the market this December with it being free to play on PC
Bring it home, baby.
and
Bring it
Xbox, it's going to be.
Been a while.
I think Call of Duty and Battlefield are in fucking
Let's
trouble.
go.
They're in trouble. So really, really good stuff. We really enjoyed it. We'll be talking about it more. And like I said, once this game drops in December 8th, we will have a Friday night raid stream where we'll begin our journey at becoming in the upper echelon of Spartans battling on Halo Infinite. So cool stuff. All right, Tone, let's move on to the next gaming topic. It's a new month. It's October. We got to talk about our most anticipated games of October.
That's right.
And what we do is we pull 4 games, 2 games each, games that we're excited about to check out the month of October. Tone?
Yes.
I'll lean over to you first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get one title of 2 that you're excited about this fall or October.
Well, the first one is actually Back 4 Blood, and this is a very, very slippery slope for me. I have a love-hate relationship with what used to be Left 4 Dead. I loved the first one when it came out. We played a fuck ton. We did LAN parties at my old house over here off Noel Court, including with the second one that came out only a year later, surprisingly enough. The multiplayer was fucking cool as shit. Like, you could play as the zombies. I believe you could do a 4v4 on that. We had a sweet LAN party, at least I want to say the second game, doing that. That was a blast. And then as you got deeper into the second game, you realized that the rubber band effect apparently in the new millennium was still a thing we put in games. And, you do so well and you're rewarded with just getting beat cheaply. So I fucking walked away from that game rage like that when that match ended and I was the last one on the stage and it was failed because it just kept throwing all this shit at you and I was blocked in. I hadn't touched that game ever since.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was how pissed I was.
Oh, my.
Yeah. See, Prime remembers. You were probably playing with us, actually. That said, we played the Back 4 Blood beta when that was out. I know Cuddles and some of the crew was playing as well, too. Boy, oh boy, it was fun because, listen, at the end of the day, Left 4 Dead's a fun first-person shooter. There's a lot going on.
Yep.
There's a lot of coordination. There's some tactical shit. That was a good time. Yeah, Prime, you were playing. You were one of the fuckers on the fucking helicopter. This game added some like elements of like RPG, like everything does nowadays, but it didn't feel like it was like secondhand. It felt like, okay, they put some thought in these with these cards and the way you build your characters.
Yep.
Really interesting. And you know what? It's cross-play, and we've talked about it before. It played really good cross-play, sound
really
and everything. Yep. So somebody's going to want to be taking notes because they figured this out. But I'm actually excited to kind of play this. Now, is it something I'm probably going to stick around and play? It's free on Game Pass, so that's the only reason I'm playing it, very honestly. If this was a purchase game, I would not be buying it, very honest with you. I'm not really in a lot of buying of the games kind of thing right now. So, but I'm excited for a few of us maybe on a weekend or something just to kick back, play a few hours of this, run through the missions, and call it a day.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in this game. I enjoyed the beta. I'll be curious to see how it compares to World War Z because World War Z just got its big update, the Aftermath update.
Right.
And it got its next-gen version, so the Xbox Series X and the PS5 version is running 60 frames, very smooth, a lot better than how they ran on last-gen consoles. It also added a first-person mode. They added a first-person mode to this game, and while it feels a little floaty, it works. Like, I was like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. So I'm really interested to check out World War Z at some point. But, no, I really enjoyed what we played in the Back 4 Blood beta. I love the card system that you mentioned. I mean, there are some cool RPG elements there. There's going to be some ways to rank up your character in different ways. Mm-hmm. And it's just going to depend on content. How do these missions vary? Is there going to be some cool mechanics with the co-op? Because when it comes to co-op, I love the games where there's co-op that actually utilizes the co-op. There's some games where it's like, hey, play this with your friends, and you're just running around doing the same, But when it actually, like, when you look at a game like It Takes Two, or, what was the other one from the guy that we played? We did the co-op stream.
A
Way Out, where it's really important to play cooperatively. Mm-hmm. If there's cool elements like that, I'm going to be hyped for this. But I really like the beta, and again, here we go. Game Pass, again, showing its true value. A game that I wasn't planning to buy. The fall is a real difficult fucking time to justify multiple purchases. It's really difficult. You got to be you're very choosy with your games. And, to see something like Back 4 Blood on Game Pass, that's a fucking no-brainer, dude. So I, too, am excited for this. Play it cooperatively. I know Cuddles, he mentions he'll play the campaign and then delete it. But at least we can play this game with Cuddles. Mm-hmm. Cross-play is there. We can play without Blanco. Play with whoever. I'm excited to check this game out. I thought the beta was actually pretty good. It ran good. It was fun. It was exciting. How much of it? Is there a lot to do? Is it going to be one of those games that's going to be lasting around? I don't know. My squad. Well, fuck you then, Cuddles. Shit, man.
Talking about the Dark Pictures House of Ashes.
The game I'm looking forward to is the Dark Pictures House of Ashes.
That actually almost made my list, actually, of the two. That was actually the one because I never actually did the second one either. But
is that the second one is with Will Poulter, right? I believe that's the guy who played Pennywise in the new. No, he was supposed to play the new Pennywise. He's the dude in Meet the Millers. Did you ever see that?
No.
With Jason Sudeikis and Jennifer Aniston?
I'm familiar with it, very familiar with it. I actually saw
Anyways, I believe Will Poulter was in the second one. But no, the Dark Pictures, the first one you and I played through, right?
Amazing.
And that was a really, really fun time. That's a really good game. So that is one. Little Hope. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. That's one with Will Poulter. My first choice is a game that unlocks in about 2 hours and 10 minutes. Far Cry 6. The latest entry in the Far Cry series. Currently, earlier today, it was sitting at about a 79 on OpenCritic. The reviews have come out. A lot of people talked about how there is a different way to the mechanics in terms of how you build your gear up to fit certain situations, which is a little bit different than previous Far Cry games. But obviously, the big thing about this game is the main antagonist,
Giancarlo Esposito.
And obviously an amazing actor, somebody who's very popular in pop culture. He's obviously in The Mandalorian. He was in Breaking Bad. I believe he's also in Better Call Saul.
Wow.
Obviously just an amazing actor. But, I've always liked the Far Cry games to a degree. I always like the attention to the antagonist. They always do a good job with the villains. They've had some very memorable villains in the past. I pre-ordered the standard edition. I didn't realize
unlocks later.
I didn't realize that the most expensive edition comes with the what was the one? It escapes me. Blood Dragon.
Oh shit!
It comes with the Blood Dragon remaster for this system. Did you ever play that?
Parts of it, and it was dope as fuck.
Actually 100% that game because it came out at the same time I took time off because Ethan had been born.
Oh.
And so whenever he was napping, I was playing Blood Dragon, and dude, Michael Biehn does the voice for the main character.
I know.
The great Michael Biehn.
Dude.
And dude, the dialogue in that game and the aesthetic of it and the music of it was 80s. Everything you love about 80s action was awesome about Blood Dragon. Blood Dragon was a fucking incredible Far Cry game. Top 3 for me. One of the best Far Cry games.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Ringo and Corporal Hicks. But that's included with the $119.99 version. I didn't realize that. I was like, fuck, they better make that shit available because I will buy Blood Dragon.
They will.
It has to. If it's Ubisoft, they'll be like, we want to make money on this at some point. They'll put it out for like $59.99. And you know what? I'm going to be like, okay.
Mm.
I'm
it's actually
stupid.
not a very long game either.
No, it's not. Oh, no.
Like
I beat it in 2 weeks I was off from work. I knocked it out, 100% of it, and I was done with it. Far Cry has been my favorite so far. That's the one with Pagan Min, right? That's where Troy Baker was the voice of.
Yes.
I think it was Pagan Min was the name of the character. Ubisoft said it will be on sale next month. Okay, cool. Appreciate it. Awesome.
Probably $20.
I did see Jay Hill down there. He said, I'm just waiting for NCAA football. That's all I'm waiting for too, baby. That's the only thing I want from EA. I don't give a fuck what else EA does. Give me another NCAA football, please.
Tell you what, I don't play sports games, but if we get NCAA, I might even be tempted just to at least play it.
Dude, I just want to do an online league. Everyone takes over 1-star programs, and you just battle each other for recruits and whatever. It's a lot of fun. But anyway, so Far Cry 6 comes out tomorrow. I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to play it until next week.
Yeah,
so that's kind of a bummer. But reviewing in a pretty good. I mean, it's 79 on OpenCritic. That's good.
You know, and here's the thing about Far. Like for me, like it's, and I talked about it. That was one of my most anticipated this fall as well too. I agree with Cuddles. Like I want to play it. I want to check it out. I dabble in them. I want to check this out because of Giancarlo. So I'll definitely at some point when it's on sale probably play it or check it out. But the thing about Far Cry's is that, you know what? The wheel's not broke. Don't fucking
If
fix
you've played one,
You've played them all.
Yeah.
But you know what? Sometimes that's perfectly fine.
Yep.
They always sell well. There's a cult following for them. They're, for all intents and purposes, good games.
and they're good-looking
consistent,
games. They look
and they're good-looking games. So, you know what? Kudos to Far Cry. It's not my bag normally, but, I'm glad they got another one coming out. It's a good series to keep rolling, so.
Yeah, a 79 is actually a pretty good score for, like Prime said, with so many titles in this series. 79 or an 80 on Metacritic.
Keep consistent that long?
I mean, that tells you that, like you said, if the wheel's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
They're fun games to play. I love the stealth elements. I love going through all the outposts and trying to take everyone out without signaling any alarm and just going through stuff. I love exploring the world. They do a great job creating a lot of hidden things in the world of Far Cry. There's a lot of like hidden spaces that you can get to find certain items and shit like that. I always like that about the Far Cry games. It's usually this beautiful exotic setting. My understanding is Yara is something of a Cuba. It's kind of like that's what it's kind of based on. So obviously a very beautiful setting.
Yeah, dude, that's dope.
Because I love pissing off animals and have them beat the outpost for me. Yeah, dude. Anytime. Yeah, and that's the thing about Far Cry is the level of freedom that you have in terms of how you want to take out something. There's different ways to take out everything. It's really good. Far Cry is built for stealth, not run and gun. I agree with Cherry Squish 100%. You can do run and gun. The weapons they give you in these games can make things go boom really quick. Like you can blow shit up really good in a Far Cry game. So if you want to go run and gun, you can. But I just feel like with the way that the levels are designed and the foliage and everything that you can make your way through and all the bigger areas you can get through, stealth is more rewarding. I'm just more of a stealth guy. But, you can really play it. But if you die, you do, though. Oh, yeah. I mean, you die. Absolutely. You die if you go heavy. I mean, you'll die a lot. But it's okay. It's all right. It's a good time. I'm looking forward to it. Just won't be able to play it until next week. Might even stream it on Monday. Might. I got to get my fucking streams going, dude.
I'll check it out.
Cuddles is right. I will wait till December when it's $40. That shit will drop in price real quick.
I'll wait till the spring when it's $35.
Or wait for it to be thrown into Game Pass or a PS Plus title. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not in a rush.
Have there ever wasn't Watch Dogs a PS Plus? Has Ubisoft ever been a part of Game Pass? Well, I mean, wasn't Ghost Recon in Game Pass for a while?
Breakpoint was.
Breakpoint was? Okay, yeah. So I mean, it might be in there at some point. The weed scene in 3 was the only good thing about that dubstep dude whose name I'm too lazy to Google. Not Vaz, right? Vaz was the main bad guy. Watch Dogs and Far Cry were. Okay, thanks, Cuddles. Yeah, I knew there were some Ubisoft games. But I can't remember the last time I saw Ubisoft game as a Plus title off the top of my head. Maybe Siege. Maybe Siege went through there at one point. Because I feel like that game's always... before it went free to play, maybe they put it through
maybe
through PS Plus. But the latest Watch Dogs was there a minute, wasn't it? I think it was, dude. No, the music dude that did the song. I don't remember that, Blanco. I'm old, though, so I trust you.
Drunk.
All right, Tone. Your second title that you're most excited about is behind you. But what I didn't even know. I've completely forgot that this was coming out at the end of the month.
I know. A classic old school horror game called Fatal Frame. Click.
And those games are fucking scary, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's
really
fucking
scary.
October.
Yeah. October 28th.
Shit your pants. Yeah, October 28th. So this could be a really fucking fun game to either stream or just have a, it's one of those games where I could see it'd be a good time if you were doing couch co-op and just passing the joy back and forth. Sometimes it's a good time. I like playing games like that. This might be a good one for that one.
Pikachu's excited now.
Yeah, yeah.
October 28th, Pikachu.
Instantly took her pants off. Yeah, so I'm really excited for it. What?
Well, sorry, Pikachu. Didn't mean to put your business out there.
Yeah, I just figured.
It's kind of a given.
What? Very excited for a new Fatal Frame. It is it's been a while since we've probably had like I'm assuming it's a full on.
It's a remake of the fourth one.
Right.
Yeah. The fourth one came out on the Wii U?
Yeah, something like that. Like
a couple years ago, but they're being remade for like PlayStation, Xbox, Switch. It's gonna be everywhere.
But at the very least, it's exciting to have another one on these systems. We'll see what it's probably not going to look spectacular, but it's not really about that. It's really about shitting your pants.
Yeah, I mean, the games have always been really strong in the audio department, and that's what you really want for this. I mean, I don't expect like a huge effort.
You're going to want your headsets on, and you're going to be wanting to wear some diapers, so when you shit your pants, it's easy to clean up.
The Wii U one was way weirdly sexual. What's sexual mean? That's
sexual.
Sexual. Oh, sexual. I was like, what is sexual? I know what sexual is. Cap Shield is in his ranged attack. What are we talking about here?
I don't know.
Any other Twisted Metal news? Other than the
There
fact
was,
that it
actually.
sounds like
Joffy's not involved.
yeah,
And he's not
Joffy's
happy
not
about it.
involved, and he made some really stupid comments. Like, look, man, I love David Joffe, but the comments that he made about not being involved with a possible reboot of Twisted
So
Metal
secular.
by the developers that made what was it, Destruction All Stars?
Yeah, what a fucking bunch of noobs to get handed that.
Well, I mean, at the
Fuck
same,
outta
you know,
here.
I mean,
it
they
was-
clearly they know vehicular combat,
Do
and I mean, they do. I mean, my understanding is they've made some, they've patched that game. They made some changes to it where it's a little
Yeah.
bit better, you know. And obviously,
I
I
mean, it
haven't
was
played
fun
it.
for a minute. Don't
It was
get me
cool
wrong.
for a minute, but it wasn't as deep as it would have. Hey, there's Miss Cannon. She is the one that put together that awesome giveaway that we talked about at the beginning of the show. Make sure you get in there. Get yourself a diamond glitter pop vinyl, the mayor. Thank you so much, Miss Cannon, for putting that together. We have it listed. The link will be popping up throughout the stream, but we appreciate you. We appreciate you. Twisted Metal, we in the 90s again. Hey, look, Twisted Metal was dope. Twisted Metal was dope. But, yeah, it sounds, I mean, obviously we don't have any confirmation yet on the game. These are just rumors. But because there is a Twisted Metal show in the early stages of being produced,
On HBO as well, right?
I believe it is
Noticing
HBO.
a trend about those movies, by the way?
No.
They're all going to HBO.
They're all going to HBO Max.
Sony.
Yeah. That's,
Same.
they didn't know where to put it.
Just an observation.
But
Weird.
rumor has it that they are going to, they have greenlit a Twisted Metal game to come out in 2023. And so apparently the developer for of Destruction All Stars will be the ones responsible for it. And Joffe went on
Feel that,
Twitter
King. Feel
and made some comments about how he was most displeased that Sony hadn't called
He
out
was
to him.
salty.
Which is, you know, that part I get. I don't fault the guy for being upset that Sony didn't reach out. He is the creator of Twisted Metal, and my understanding is based on what he said, the showrunners for the show have reached out to him about the show. So if Sony hasn't reached out to him regarding the game yet, hopefully they'll reconsider that. But at the same time, some of the comments that Joffe made, look, I actually got to sit down and interview Joffe once for Short Pause. I got to sit down with the guy. He's an awesome person. He's very insightful. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. He's a legendary game designer. Obviously, he's the creative director behind God of War and Twisted Metal. He has a proven track record, and he knows what goes on in the industry. But David, at the same time, he made some comments during his video regarding Twisted Metal that are just, they seem a little bit on the petty side. Now, I don't understand, you know, what it's like to have your baby getting handed over.
He's not usually petty. That's what I thought was weird about it.
It's bizarre, you know. And like I said, I love David Joffe. I would never badmouth David Joffe, and I appreciate his insight. But you know, some of the comments he made were a little goofy,
Yeah,
and
Blanco.
I definitely recommend you guys check out the interview and the comments that he made. But I just feel like he was a little out of line with that.
So you said it was how bizarre?
Yeah. I'm not. No, that it's like Tom Hardy and Mad Max. That's bait. I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that. All right. So you're excited for Fatal Frame coming out on October 28th.
Fuck yeah, why not? Let's shit our pants and play some fucking horror
Let's
games.
get fucking scary.
It's poop.
And the final most anticipated title. This one
It's
right
totally
here.
like Marvel Avengers.
Over here.
What up, beard?
Over here. This one right here. Samus, she's back. Metroid Dread, which drops this Friday on Nintendo Switch, which is also one of the top reviewed games of 2021.
And also the first game I've ever pre-ordered on the Switch.
Reviews have been stellar.
Stellar.
And because my basement will be absolutely fucking useless beginning tonight when Far Cry drops, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to take my Switch upstairs. I'm going to get Metroid Dread download. I'm going to pre-order it tonight. I'm ready for it. I watched some gameplay of it. I love the fact that it has all the classic Metroid elements that you would love, but they've modernized some of the controls and the combat, and that parry fucking system looks dope.
Dude.
It looks really good. And I love the enemies that are like hunting you down in between levels.
Dude.
The dread in the name, well, it's meaningful.
Let's fucking go.
It's literal.
So
I am
excited.
really, really fucking excited for Metroid Dread. Like I said, the gameplay videos look great. It's running at 60 frames. It looks gorgeous. The combat's going to be there. The exploration's going to be there. It's going to be dope. A dude stream, been like a month. Brother, I'm going to stream at some point. If it's, hey, knock it off. Knock it off. At the very least, You know I'm going to be back on December 8th. The Friday night raid stream will return with Halo. I would love to get on there and play some and get a stream in before that, though. Jimmy Z says, do you guys prefer digital? What's up, Jimmy Z? Jimmy Z's going to be with us next weekend, I believe. Is he going to be there next Friday?
I think so.
I think he's going to be there next Friday. Jimmy Z. Do you guys prefer digital or physical media for the Switch? Digital. I'm digital all around. I'm a digital guy.
Yeah, I'm hit or miss depending on the series. Typically, I would normally buy this physical to have it for my collection because I've got a lot of Metroid shit.
Mm-hmm.
I actually decided to go digital with this because for the Switch specifically, I feel like because I'm always playing on the TV, it's more annoying to switch out the cartridges than a disc, if that makes sense. But I don't know. Like I just decided to go digital. I was so excited about this. Traded some bullshit in, and I got some credit, and I got a $50 eShop card, and it said, this is going towards Metroid. I'm not doing the physical shit. So I decided to go digital for this. And like I said, this is the first game I've actually pre-ordered digitally on the Switch.
And it's downloaded, ready to go.
And it's downloaded, ready to go, and I'm fucking
Ladies and gentlemen, Ant House Beats is in the house.
Oh, shit.
Ant House Beats. If you are not listening to this man's music, shame on you.
Shame on you.
But you can redeem yourself right now by going over to iTunes, Spotify, or wherever the fuck they sell dope-ass music. Look up Ant House Beats. Check out his latest album. Now, Ant House, is the Squid Game remix, is that live or is that a pre-order right now? I know he did a remix for Squid Game, which is a movie, a show I'm actually going to power through this weekend. We're going to talk about that next week.
I want to try to do that too.
But I know Ant House is in here. I want to get his thoughts. I can't remember if he said Squid Game is out now, his remix, or if it's going to be out at some point.
Totally get that, Crash, by the way.
What Crash say? I go physical on everything?
He does. He says he's a big fan of collecting, preserving physical media. Like I said, I am very specific. Like, Metroid is a series that I really should have the physical case on it for. I might actually thought about this. Funny you brought that up. When I was pre-ordering it digitally, my first thought was like, maybe someday I can just buy a case off somebody just to have it.
Right.
But I'm neither here nor there. But there are definitely some certain ones where I would have to.
I mean, Tone, you know me. I was a physical
you're
whore.
Big time.
I'd come to your store and be like, hey, man, can I get this fucking steelbook?
Yep.
I need this steelbook. I'd pre-order. And the thing is, dude, I was to the point, it was so bad where I was like, look, I want the steelbook, but I don't want to come get it at midnight. I want to come again the next couple of days. I'd order the steelbook through you.
Right.
And then I'd pre-order the digital edition.
Yeah.
And then when I'd get the steelbook, I'd come back to your store and be like, or I'd go to the other store and be like, hey, man, here's this disc. Can I sell this back? And I'd trade the disc back in. I love digital because it's just easier. At this point in my life, I have an awesome collection of collector's editions and everything out in the other room.
A lot of bullshit.
I've got, dozens upon dozens of steelbooks from the PS4 and the PS3 era. I love physical media. But damn it, dude, I'm fucking tired of going and standing in line. I'm too fucking old for it. Okay, I'm too old for it. I want to be able to sit there and pre-order the game on my system, have it download a couple days early, and if my old ass isn't asleep by midnight, I can hop on and play it. Check it out and go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, dude, it's so bad. I'm too fucking lazy to get up, take a disc out, and put another disc in.
See, that don't bother me.
It bothers the fuck out of me.
The Switch, however, I do agree because it's also very mobile at times as well, too. I just feel like the Switch makes more sense to do the digital.
Absolutely.
More often than not. And certain games, you can only get in digital, or certain games make sense on
Absolutely.
digital, like Aliens and things like that. But at the end of the day, I do, like, if it's Final Fantasy, I have to have physical. Or
there's certain collector's editions where, like, honestly, like, certain games, if there's a certain collector's edition, I'll be like, okay, I got to make this happen.
Mm.
But man, from the last gen, like the PS4 era, I was heavy in collector's editions. Everything on the Xbox or PS4, if there was something awesome, had to have it. But I told myself, man, this gen, not anymore, dude. I'm done. I have a big enough collection. I don't care. I'm too fucking lazy. Just give me the digital edition. So tonight, as soon as the show is done, taking my Switch upstairs, I'm pre-ordering Metroid Dread, one of the top reviewed games of the year. I'm looking forward to it. The gameplay looks dope as fuck. It looks great. The parry system, again, looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Metroid, dude. How can you not be excited for Metroid?
It's one of the all-time greatest series and my favorite Nintendo series, period.
Can't fucking wait. Gonna be dope. Friday night. You need the opener?
Yeah.
Use your teeth. Where's it at? You're a
Did you guys
pansy.
cover...
Did you guys cover AOE 4, Age of Empire 4? No, we did not.
Curious on that. Has the reviews been coming out on that? Definitely am interested in that. I'm very honest.
Now, here's the thing, Cannon. I know, it's rude. I'm not a PC gamer, so I'm not going to be playing Age of Empire 4.
I don't very much these days.
But I do know. But Cannon, here's the thing. We let our community cover PC games. So if you do get Age of Empire 4, you should do a video review. Submit it to us. Like right now, I will have a review for you. Dude, seriously, Cannon. Yes.
Yeah.
Do it. I have a review for New World from Dungeons. I wasn't able to get to it tonight. It'll be up on the next show. If you want to do a review for Age of Empire 4, woman, send it. Send it over. Make a video. Like 4 to 5 minutes, things that you love about it, things you don't love about it, and your overall rating, send it over. Thanks for the love, guys. I'll lose connection halfway. It's all right, Ant-House. Appreciate it, man. Hey, if you're still watching, if you're still able to watch, is your Squid Game remix available for everybody now, or is it going to be available soon? What's the status on that? If you can share that really quick. I know you're losing connection. Just let me know, because I will tell everybody where you're at on the Squid Game remix. This guy does some soon. It's processing. All right, soon. So make sure you're in the Discord. Make sure you're following Ant-House on Twitter, Twitch, everywhere. His OnlyFans is amazing. It's amazing. I've never enjoyed watching somebody make music nude. It's awesome.
It's very good.
It's very, very good.
Great content.
It's on YouTube for sure. Wink. Yeah, there's the wink. All right. Tone, those are our 4 most anticipated games in the month of October. Some really good stuff.
October.
I'm about to record my Banjo-Kazooie review. Crash, I promise I'll try to get that up before next millennia. All right, Tone, let's go. We have a couple of trailers.
Oh, I'm excited.
We got a couple of trailers we need to talk about. A couple of trailers that dropped this week. Actually, I think it was like today and yesterday. But
yes,
a couple of trailers I think there's going to be some interesting conversations for. The first one, mainly this one. Let's take a look at House of the Dragon.
Gods, kings, fire, and blood. Dreams didn't make us kings. Dragons did.
Yeah, Jerry. Pretty wild.
Woo!
See, it does, El Blanco. It does.
All right, look, I'll be the first to admit. It's a good trailer.
Yeah,
Good teaser.
Son.
It's a good teaser. This is the show, Pikachu. This will be a show. Now, here's where I feel like things are a little sketchy right now. Look, this is based on the 2018's Fire and Blood. This is the book that George R. R. Martin put out, Fire and Blood, 2018, which was received mixed reception. It was not his best received book. The showrunners are Ryan Condal and Miguel Sapochnik. Now, Miguel was the director of the Battle of the Bastards, which is one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones.
Absolutely.
Battle of the Bastards. So we clearly have people in charge now, not D.B. Weiss and the other guy who really let us down. But here's the thing, y'all. I want to get people's thoughts on this, especially people in the chat who were invested in Game of Thrones. This is a cool trailer. Okay, this is a cool trailer.
Yeah, it's very cool.
But has the damage already been done? Has the damage already been done? Like, look, we spent 8 years invested in Game of Thrones. 8 years of great television. Some of the best television I have ever seen in my entire life. And then that final 9th season came around. And was an absolute kick in the fucking nuts.
Sometimes all it takes is a spark, 7 dungeons.
An absolute kick in the nuts. A disastrous season.
That's a good point, Blanco.
A rushed season.
Mm-hmm.
A season that ruined, in my opinion, ruined the legacy of this show.
Ruined potentially the biggest pop culture phenomenon in our entire in our lifetime. This was something. Game of Thrones transcended so many things, just so many things. And I listen, like, I definitely think that the finale and that season and everything is going to affect this. Yes, for people like me, it won't. And I'll very simply why. First of all, my house has been since literally the second or third
Targaryen.
has been Targaryen.
House Targaryen.
So this is my jam. So fire and blood, we're there all day. Definitely understand the purple eye thing, Blanco. That's a very good point out. I've always been weird about that too. But I think this has a lot of potential because it isn't Dan and DB. I know this book was received mixed as well too. And listen, at this point, like, George R. R. Martin gets credit for creating Game of Thrones. He really doesn't deserve a lot of credit for a lot of the things that he has or hasn't done because he hasn't done shit with the entire series. And just, I think overall, this has potential to rekindle. I am not sure how big that fire is going to get. It's got to come swinging. At the end of the day, it's got to come swinging. I think the good news is that this is 200 years prior.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see a lot of fucking dragons, probably.
Keep going.
And not having a direct connection with that last season or that series is going to be good for this one because maybe it will feel isolated enough and stand alone on us enough that you're just not going to think about that sort of thing.
Sure.
It's not going to be relevant. I do hope there are some call-ins and some tie-ins because certain things can live a long time. Three-Eyed Raven, things like that as well too would be kind of cool. But then again, it might be best to stay away from that shit as well too because you don't want to really tie in so much. So it's a shame that the series did what it did. But at the same time, for somebody like me, 7 dungeons. I was just gonna make that point. There you go. So like you compare to Star Wars and the sequel trilogy and what that did to people, even the prequel trilogy originally. You bring guys like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, and you rekindle love with Star Wars from another piece of media that is intertwined, but it's its own thing. That might hopefully is going to what happened here.
That's a good point.
So literally, I was going to say the same fucking thing. Perfect spot on there, 7D. But HBO, like, I know Cuddle said a lot of the movies suck. You're right. A lot of the movies have been shitty. Like, we got some free stuff this year. A lot of it's been shit. There's been some good gems in there. Their series, though, typically, a lot of their series
usually top tier.
Typically is where it's top tier. And, and we're going to dive into that probably into another movie sometime later today about how that could have affected differently. But very honestly, I'm going to be there day one. Bottom line, I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be just so compelled to watch because they want to see. I mean, look, as much of a disappointment as Season 9 was, and you guys, I'm serious, that thing pissed me off. I was furious with Season 9. I was seriously so disappointed with it that it was really difficult for me to, like, for a while, recommend people watching Game of Thrones. I didn't want to sit there and be like, yeah, go watch this for 8 seasons, but prepared to be fucking disappointed, to the max come Season 9. But, like, Tricky Regent just started watching it. I talked to him. I was like, dude, you got to watch this. You got to watch it. He started watching it today. And, like, at the beginning, the first text he sent, I think he said something like, man, these episodes are really long. I was like, just wait. And then later in the day, it was like, holy shit, these people are stabbing each other in the back. I was like, bro, you have no idea. You have no idea. It's some of the most compelling television in history, the first 8 seasons. But damn it, I don't want to sit there and recommend the first 8 seasons and then have to explain to my friend or former friend why I didn't mention Season 9. It's just, it was that disappointing.
And at the end of the day, I actually and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because it's such fucking trash. But
Right, Cuddles, Tricky. Just don't start liking a character.
yeah, for sure. I actually don't mind where the series ended up and where the characters ended. That wasn't the problem for me. I don't mind what where the direction made. A lot of that actually made sense when you stop and kind of like really dive deep into it. The problem I had with it that was so trash about it was that because it was only 8 episodes, they just rushed all that shit. So when you got to the ending, it was like, it's like trying to get A to C, right? But skipping B. That's what happened. So none of it made sense. It was like you couldn't process it because it didn't make sense. Like why did this happen when this just happened 10 minutes ago? So had they drawn it out maybe a couple more episodes, some of those things might have ended up a little bit better and might have been more impactful. It might have made a little bit more sense. Here we are, short season, rushed all this shit. Like, just generally, the whole fucking thing was rushed.
I know people made fun of it and they made light of it, but dude, I'm telling you right now, when you're on a set of a movie and when people are committed to it, especially the showrunners and the director and the producers, when they are taking things seriously, somebody notices a fucking Starbucks cup on the table. Somebody notices a water bottle sitting by somebody's foot on set. I know it seems small and easy to miss. It's not easy to miss during a major production.
Right.
When somebody has a Starbucks cup on the fucking table,
that tells you how rushed that
nobody
shit was.
gives a fuck about what's going on.
Yeah, that tells you how rushed that season was. So it's a damn shame. Like Nug, we can talk about this if you ever want to talk about that, because I think Jon Snow's ending was actually the proper way. And to be honest with you, incest was a pretty big thing in that series. And if that was blindsided you should have been paying attention, because I don't know, like there's at least 2 or 3 I can think of in that series. So Game of Thrones basically, Tricky, as you're watching it, incest is apparently the best. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, Trick, there's going to be some things throughout there you're going to be like, huh? But I mean, for the most part, like I said, the first 8 seasons, and Zach mentioned, I think it was Zach that mentioned, season 8 started to show some cracks in the armor. I agree. There was some questionable stuff in there, but
didn't impact the story, Nug. It was relevant.
For the most part, the first 8 seasons are some of the best television you'll ever see. It's that good. Which makes season 9 that much more heartbreaking. Lady Stoneheart.
She was irrelevant. I mean, she didn't impact the overall story. She was not necessary for a TV version of her. Like, I know it's cool and people were doing that shit and we're like, oh, where's Lady Stoneheart?
Right.
She was not relevant. She didn't impact the overall story necessarily. So
right. She was one of the things where you could leave her on the cutting room floor and be like, you know what? She was barely in the book. She wasn't like. I think people just wanted because they really liked. I don't want to ruin it for Tricky.
I think I get the allure to it, but at the end of the day, like, we got to be realistic.
Yeah, they can only do so much. They gotta cut corners here and there. So, but like Tom mentioned, the series takes place 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones during the reign of King Viserys, the Targaryens and whatnot. Tom's hyped about that. The first season will be 10 episodes.
Yeah.
But the other thing I think that works in favor of this show is the fucking book is complete.
Yeah, that's true too.
They don't have to sit there and wait for George to show up with notes for what's going on. The book is complete. They have everything right there in front of them. Now, obviously, do I expect them to take some liberties with some stuff? Sure, they want to make it their own take on it. There'll probably be certain little things, but for the most part, they know what the fuck is going to happen in this book.
The real question at the end of the day, and this is the last thing I want to personally say about this, if this show, and they probably won't because they don't want to tie it into it, if it doesn't have the original theme from it, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh, dude, there's no way. There's no way they'll have that original theme.
That.
Oh, I would love it too. I would love the original theme. That's the biggest thing. Can we trust these showrunners to see it all the way through? That's going to be my biggest question. Can they see it all the way through?
Like you said, the book's out.
The book is out. Everything is right there.
Mm-hmm.
George is going to be around. If you have questions, ask him.
He's going to be eating animal crackers.
I hope it's good, but I just feel like the fan base is fractured at this point, and some of them just don't fucking trust it.
Well, that's fine.
But
when we get to the second or third season, and it's actually still prety awesome, they'll come back.
Oh, fuck yeah, I would. I mean, even if I was the most skeptical and hated them, if I heard people saying, oh man, show's fucking dope, season 3, I'd be binging that shit.
And then season 4 ending finale.
Yep, let's go. I'm down to binge it. So, all right. So, on to our next trailer. We watched Suicide Squad earlier this year. Didn't blow us away, but it was okay. It was okay. But we knew that we were going to see more Peacemaker, more John Cena as Peacemaker, and we got a teaser trailer yesterday. Let's check out Peacemaker.
Are you kidding me?
Did this dipshit really show up in full cosplay mode?
This is the guy Waller's giving us. I told you she's fucking us.
She's not fucking us.
Is that an eagle in his back seat?
She's fucking us.
Hey, scooch.
Why are you in your costume?
Costume. This is a uniform. And it's brand new, so I gotta stretch it out, make it more comfortable before we go on a mission.
Maybe I'm stupid, but why would you even want to wear that on a mission? A bright red shirt and white pants aren't exactly conducive to lurking in the shadows.
People see this uniform, it strikes fear in their hearts.
What people? The other people at the Village People tryouts?
Why is there a bald eagle in your car?
That's Eagly. You guys ordered without me?
Eagly is your pet eagle.
Yeah.
Is your dog named Doggy?
All right.
Do you have a daughter named Daughtery?
Jealous of a guy's pet eagle much?
You know, that was entertaining, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like at the same time, like, if that's your main character, you literally having all these shitheads just shit on him kind of too. I thought that was a little odd choice.
But I
get
mean, that's
the
kind of all
comedic
they did to him in the in Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
I mean,
kind of.
They shit on him
Yeah,
for the
I
most
mean,
part.
but at the same time, like, I feel like, I don't know, like, it's apparently John Cena's in that. I didn't see him in it, but I guess he's in the trailer somewhere. But it's weird. I don't know, like, I don't give a shit. I'll be very honest. At the end of the day, like, I'll probably watch it because we'll probably talk about it on the show, so you're gonna make me. But like, I just don't give a fuck. Like, it might be all right. It might be. Listen, he was one of the few bright spots in the Suicide Squad movie because he was funny.
Right.
But even the twist with him, I thought was kind of fucking stupid, which also makes me say, well, how in the fuck is this gonna? I'm sure they're gonna explain it. I hope. Like, how are you gonna trust this piece of shit?
Right.
Like, it's kind of fucking.
And
stupid.
which is interesting because this takes place after the events of Suicide Squad.
That's a good point, Just Canadian.
You know what I'm saying? This takes place after the events of
yeah,
Suicide
like
Squad.
what the fuck?
Because he's a bad guy, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Is he? Is he?
I mean,
Is he?
well, the way. Okay, first of all, James Gunn is the showrunner.
Shades of Grey.
James Gunn is the showrunner.
Okay.
And he wrote all 8 episodes. So James Gunn has his hand in it. So we all know James Gunn. We love James Gunn. We know what he can do.
Sometimes.
But James Gunn describes Peacemaker as a superhero / supervillain / world's biggest douchebag.
Okay.
So I mean, okay, so now you kind of have a premise. And you understand what kind of character this is. He's unpredictable. You don't know what to expect from him. But the series will explore the origins of Peacemaker, who believes in achieving peace at any cost. But I'm still curious to see how they're going to explain the fact that he basically killed off some of the fucking Suicide Squad.
Like, what the
He's
fuck?
a bad guy, yet in this one he's supposed to be he's working with the same people that he betrayed. So, I don't know how they're going to make this work. I do like John Cena. I like his attempts at humor. I think John Cena has a future at being funny when he wants to be. How long this bit will remain funny for over the course of 8 episodes remains to be seen. Because it's John Cena. I hope it's good. I think there's potential there with James Gunn involved. And like I said, I like John Cena's attempts at humor lately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, dude. This will begins streaming in January of next year on HBO Max. I mean, what kind of high expectations?
I'm gonna be very honest. I don't give a shit.
Don't give a shit.
I'm telling you, Suicide Squad was shit, and we all know how I felt about that. And like, I just don't give a shit. Like, I'm gonna watch it because I think John Cena's delivery and some of the comedic bits I think are fun.
But
They're
can
funny.
they carry 8 episodes
I don't fucking
of a
know,
show?
and maybe he can with that stuff. But I'm just saying, overall, as a series, I don't give a shit.
Cuddle says DC does good stuff on Max though. Doom
Which
Patrol
he
is
does,
great.
yeah. And I've heard Doom Patrol is really good. And you're not the only one that said that. And I also heard the Teen Titans or Titans, whatever.
Mhm.
Heard that's really good. I do want to watch at least Titans. I know I need to get into either of those series as well too. But again, I care more about those characters because I enjoy obscure characters getting limelight. So like that's kind of more of a thing for me. And you would think I would resonate with Suicide Squad to do that. It's just If the writing's bad, it's fucking bad.
Right.
You know, and I just like, and no offense, like, listen, I typically like James Gunn. There were things I did like about Suicide Squad. I overall just didn't really think the movie was that great, and I just don't know whether or not this is gonna be enjoyable. And if I'm wrong, and it is, awesome. We can sit here a couple months down the road and say those 8 episodes are great. We wish we had more. Awesome. That's what I would hope for, but I don't.
I think that the potential is there. Like I said, James Gunn is involved. He's a showrunner. James Gunn is very passionate about his work. He's very passionate about how people receive his work. And so, there is some potential there. But again, how long will this bit last? I mean, I want to see – I think John Cena's funny, but ultimately I want to see him kicking people's asses. He plays kind of a dope.
Bro, I just want to be able to see him.
Yeah,
like I said, I heard he was in the trailer.
He's right there. He's sitting right there talking.
Is he?
Oh, knock it off. Grow up. Crash says, I need to check out Harley Quinn still. I have not seen Harley Quinn.
Tricky. I don't think he gets the joke is what's funny about it, too.
Oh.
Do you not get the John Cena joke?
You can't see me. Fuck.
You really didn't get that until now?
I just got it now.
Oh, my God.
I know. God damn it.
You fucking dummy.
I fucking hate
Somebody
you.
better clip this shit.
Dude Cuddles 2020 ASAP. Or no, 2021. I don't even know what's going on. I just look, oh God, tone P break, please.
No,
we're gonna keep me right in the spotlight.
Keep rolling, keep rolling.
We have not one, not
one?
two, not even 3. We have 4 movie reviews. Now, one of
I
them,
hope you guys are ready to be awake.
one of them is one we have to talk about.
Have to.
We have to talk about
Have to.
out of principle,
Out of principle.
because we love. Miss Sodax, thank you so much for that follow. We're a big fan of Nick Cage.
The one true God? I'm sorry, I don't know what you said.
And because we've been gone for 2 weeks, we didn't get a chance to talk about it. We're going to talk about it right now. We're going to talk about Prisoners of the Ghostland. Available now on digital, where you can rent it or buy it for like $14.99.
He is Jesus. You're right, King. I'm glad you just said that.
He is
The
Jesus,
one true
Carlos.
God.
You're actually absolutely right. Okay. We aren't going to spend too much time on this. Prisoners of the Ghostland, starring Nick Cage, Sofia Boutella, Nick Cassavetes, and Bill Moseley, directed by Cian Siono. A very visionary, wild director.
Oh, right out the gate, tricky.
From Japan. Tricky says 2 thumbs down. Tone?
Yeah.
Going to you first, man. We are Nick Cage fans.
Yes.
And we know going into his movies, there's going to be some crazy shit going on.
Yes.
And Nick Cage said, this is the craziest, wildest movie he's ever done. Your thoughts, Prisoners of the Ghostland?
Listen, I wanted more. I was a little underwhelmed. I really appreciate, the Eastern style storytelling. Like,
oh, yeah.
It was a Western backdrop with like this Eastern style of crazy storytelling. I like the mashup. It was really weird. I love really weird shit. But at the end of the day, for me, it just wasn't as gonzo as I wanted. I wanted more action. Nicholas felt at times oddly like reserved. I don't know how to explain it. Like, he said
he took a lot of chances in this movie.
Right. And he was fine. He seems fine with it. He's invested. I just wanted a little bit more crazy ass shit. Like, there's a part in the movie we saw in the trailer when he says, "I am radioactive." I expected it to be like way like more grandiose at that point, and it really actually kind of was anticlimactic. And I was like, "Oh, that's his response to that." Mm-hmm. Oh. What? Yeah. Like, I wanted more. Like, I wanted more like sword play or gun play. I wanted something, and I just didn't feel like I ever got it. Now, I'm not saying it's a terrible movie. It's better than a lot of movies I've probably seen, especially recently. So I would enjoy probably watching this again. It's a dive I want to get back into because I feel like I might have missed some things, and maybe I didn't. Maybe it is what it is at face value. But at the end of the day, I do feel everybody should watch it. Make your own thoughts of it, or be your own judge on it. But it definitely, for me, I wanted more. I wanted more of a Mandy-esque, or like I almost wanted, like in a weird way, I thought or wanted almost like a Kill Bill-esque.
Sure.
Like something more like that.
Sure.
Like more like more characters. There's some great characters in there, but some of them didn't make sense either. Like the main, like one of the main baddies with the katana all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't get no explanation for that. And listen, certain characters don't always need explanation, and we'll get into that later as well too. But
there's
like
a lot of things in this movie that need an explanation.
Right. There was more. You just needed more in here. So unfortunately enough, it was lacking in some substance. And for being a crazy ass, weird, crazy fucking match between East and West, even the twist at the end, his friend and everything like that. I actually thought that was kind of cool. I did, but it just didn't feel like, because the movie was so meh to some degree, it didn't feel as awesome as it could have been. Because that could have been really fucking cool. So
yeah, it's an insane premise. This movie is an insane premise, and it's not going to be for everybody.
Right.
It seriously, it is Escape from New York meets Mad Max mashed into a Western told through an Eastern influenced storytelling style. This is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Including myself. It was not for me.
It's a gorgeous flick.
The sets, the costumes, the aesthetic for the movie are wild. Like, it's fucking out there. But my problem with this movie is, if you're going to go that crazy with all of those things, all those aspects of the movie, you have to put some money into it. And this stuff looked like something a bunch of kids would make
look very like,
for a homemade video. It was cheap. It looked really cheap, and I can't help it. This movie would have been a little bit better with a bigger budget. But the overall look of the movie, not just the costume, but everything, just felt kind of amateurish. It felt very amateur. Now, look, I know this director is a prolific director over there. Obviously, Nick Cage is a talented actor, but I don't know if they were just given like $20 and said, make it work.
Right.
But there's certain elements in this movie that just feel really cheap.
Go to the Dollar Tree, get some props.
And that goes with the acting as well. You know, with the exception of Cage and Butella and Bill Moseley, and you know, if we're being honest, these three aren't walking away with any hardware come award season. I mean, there's nothing in this movie that's like, holy shit, that's a great performance. They're committed, but it doesn't mean it's always good. But most of the performances, other than those three, are pretty bad. They range from uneven to comically bad. So you have that. So it's a movie that looks cheap. There's some cheap acting. It's a stretch to really get into this movie and buy into it like a Mandy or a Pig or a Color Out of Space or something like that. It's just, there's not a lot backing the premise. There are some moments that are so absurd they feel unintentionally fun, like they're intentionally funny, like they're going completely over the top. There are some elements of that I thought were actually pretty funny, but they're so few and far between, and everything else is just kind of like meh. There's a whole lot of like pointless dialogue that doesn't go anywhere and doesn't really explain a lot of
characters.
You know, and when you make a movie that is very much like Escape from New York or Mad Max, you gotta have the action. And there's just not a lot of it. There's some decent action littered throughout here and there. The final act is pretty much all action, but like the rest of the production, it just feels cheap. It's poorly choreographed. It's not terribly exciting. There's no shortage of blood. There's a lot of blood splatter.
Right.
I mean, when there's a lot of arteries getting cut in this movie. But for the most part, you know, it's just I don't want to say it's a really bad movie. It's not nearly as memorable as some of like Cage's other movies recently, like, you know, the ones that we always talk about. It kind of falls somewhere in the middle of his other movies, which in a way, considering the premise, it's kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, and like
it's not his worst movie.
No, and like it really was very live action anime-esque.
Yes.
But it needed more kick in the pants, and maybe I don't know what their budget was. That's actually something I would like to know. Like, I wonder what their budget was.
I can look. Let me see. Go ahead, keep going.
Because I feel like, you know, for all it was trying to do and trying to get there, like it just didn't have. They were missing something, and I think action was a big part of that. Again, the story is fucking weird. It's nonsensical. It doesn't even need to make sense, and a lot of Eastern storytelling doesn't make sense. You know, I never figured out if they were in purgatory or another town. Yeah, Tricky, that's what I'm saying. Like they're trying to be. That's the problem, though. They were trying to be existential on some things, but it just didn't hit because it didn't make a lot of sense because of the direct. You didn't really know, you know. I thought there was a lot of awesome weird shit, and I like that weird shit. But even then, at the end of the day, it wasn't going to save the movie. You know, You figured out?
No, it doesn't have it listed what the budget was, but it
So
couldn't
it was
have been
literally
much.
$20. It went to Dollar Tree. Got some stuff, but
Yeah, I feel like this could have been a lot better. It could have been, with the hype that was behind it, with the people that were involved, with the director that was involved, considering his work and, his resume. Obviously, Nick Cage, he doesn't shy away from anything. But at the end of the day, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. But again, when you're making a Nick Cage movie that's being hyped as the wildest movie he's ever done, and it falls somewhere in the middle of the pack of all of the movies he's done, that's a disappointment to me.
yeah.
It was a disappointment. It's not even. This will be one of those Nick Cage movies that's just kind of forgettable. It's a bold, attempt on his part, but at the end of the day, just not what it didn't reach the levels that we were kind of really excited
We
about.
wanted to really actually radioactive. And it
Yeah,
wasn't
we really wanted to see him like walk around glowing,
something.
radioactive. But you did get to see one of his testicles, so that's cool, right? I mean, he had a nut blown off. Con Air is his best movie. Like, look, man, I love some of Nick Cage's movies. Mandy is amazing. Face Off is amazing. Con Air is fucking awesome. Con Air is fucking awesome. If you tell me right now you didn't like Con Air,
No, I love Con Air.
Okay.
No, I was gonna say like Face Off is my favorite Cage movie.
Raising Arizona is another awesome Cage movie.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Leaving Las Vegas. I mean, the guy, his resume speaks for itself. But Con Air is, I feel like it's a little underrated. Con Air is
Even though
fucking
it's
awesome.
Michael Bay, I think The Rock was fucking dope.
Dude, that's by far Michael Bay's best movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
By far. It's
Welcome
not even
to the
close.
Rock.
Welcome to the Rock. Awesome. Michael Bean's in
But
that
he
too.
was also, what I love about that too is who he was kind of supposed to be playing.
James Bond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
There was rumors that he was going to be that was going to be his character.
that was fucking dope, man.
Bad Boys 2, that movie's just garbage, Zach. So hopefully that's who you were going at, making fun of it.
Shake
'cause
your tail feathers.
It's absolutely. I mean, National Treasure's good.
It's
but
a great.
Not, it's not an upper echelon,
Right,
Cage
but I
movie.
mean, for all intents and purposes, like my parents love that shit, and it's a very like just casual moviegoer. It's not terrible. Very honestly, it's not. I mean, it is what it is. If you do or don't like it, but whatever.
I like Bad Boys 1, but I don't even think that was Michael Bay, was it? I think that was somewhere else. But no, Bad Boys 2 is a terrible movie. It's an awful movie. All right, moving on to our next movie review. Something that I was actually really, really excited to see. Free Guy. I know we're a little late to this, but, became available on
well, we
digital.
wanted it free, guy.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you're a piece of shit.
No.
No. Free Guy, starring Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer, Lil Ray Howery, Joe Keery, and is it Taika Waititi?
Taika
Waititi?
yeah.
Director of, was it Guardians?
Yeah, and you could hear the Korg in his voice in this movie. And it was
When
pretty
he
fucking
pops
hilarious.
up on screen, I was like, that's what I
He
was really hoping would
fucking
be.
hilarious. Well, there was also some other cameos, by the way.
There are, and one of the cameos is probably in my opinion, is one of the funniest movies funniest moments of the movie.
Yeah.
But overall, Free Guy tone. Ryan Reynolds plays Guy, an
He does.
NPC in a video game who has a special bit of coding that, with the proper motivation, can start to evolve in the game that is built around basically like an open world, as like an MMO where people just go in and do missions and get crazy and blow shit up. Basically like Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. Guy lives in San Andreas or wherever, San Los Santos. And did you notice Takia is pineapple shirt and party thrower?
Yes,
What If?
El Blanco, because I watched Screen Crush.
Boom. Because I watched Screen Crush. But Tone, you liked Free Guy?
I actually did like it. I enjoyed it. If I had to give it out of 5 B&B beers, I give it like a 2.5. I don't think that's a bad. I think listen, it didn't deserve necessarily 3. But I think
Digital, J Hill. It's on digital.
2.5 B&B mugs is where I kind of rate this. I had some laughs. I enjoyed it. It was feel good. While I agree that Ryan Reynolds has the ability to be much more, and he's great when he's much more. His comedy is so much more when he's dark humor or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
I actually enjoyed the movie. I didn't hate it. It definitely, I will say, I felt like maybe because it was overhyped by a lot of people that really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I missed out on some of that.
That's a recurring theme.
What's that?
Hyping up a movie that might not be as good as they say. Talk about that, a little foreshadow.
I tell everybody that at this point, yeah, And you know what? That's perfectly fine, miss. I think this is one of those movies where everybody's going to get a little bit different for it. And I think that's fine. Like, I don't think it's not trying to be something. It's not trying to be more than it is. It's a good movie. There's going to be people that love this movie, and that's awesome. I didn't love it. I definitely enjoyed it. I had some good laughs. I was glad I saw it. I don't know if I'd watch it again. It's definitely going to get forgotten probably. I loved the fact that now I don't know if this was originally under Fox deal or how this works with Disney or maybe Disney.
Really, but 20th Century Studios.
There's some weird shit. Yeah,
I think they do have a tie-in with Disney because obviously there's some
Disney owns
properties.
So I think so there's some Star Wars and some Marvel stuff in there, which
is hilarious.
Which was fucking hilarious, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But again, as a gamer and things like that as well too, I really got a kick out of it. You know, so I saw some people say this is what Ready Player One should have been. I enjoyed the Ready Player One movie. I really did. I actually probably liked that actually a little bit better than this, just truth be told. But at the same time, like I thought that was a really weird thing to compare it to. I get while it is, but Ready Player One's really quite its own thing.
That's I wouldn't.
It was kind of odd. I actually, like I said, I didn't hate Ready Player One, but
I don't understand. Is there hate for that?
There's some. Yeah. Well, I don't know how close it was to the book or whatever. Something. I don't know. I know. Whatever. But anyways, end of the day, I enjoyed the movie. I had some good laughs. It's worth at least watching. I think it's perfectly fine. This is one of those movies where it's meant for a little bit of everybody to take something away from it. Watch it, have a laugh or two, and let us know what you think.
Jay Hill, when I say digital, I mean like VOD. Like you can buy it on digital. I don't know because digital usually drops before Blu-ray. I don't think it's out on Blu-ray yet. But when I say VOD, anytime I say digital, I mean like VOD, like iTunes or wherever you can buy digital movies, Amazon, shit like that. No, I'm with Tone. I mean, like, look, I like Ryan Reynolds. I think he's hilarious. He's having fun in this movie, but I'm a bigger fan of his more raunchier, R-rated humor. When he's not restricted, to a certain rating, and also him playing the clueless buffoon, because this character is kind of clueless to what's going on. Sometimes when he does that, I've seen him do it before, and it kind of reminds me of when Adam Sandler is in character.
I actually don't like Little Nicky.
I don't like Little Nicky either. I don't like any time Adam Sandler is in character when he's being himself. But when he does his stupid voice, I don't like that, and I felt like that's what Ryan Reynolds was doing in this. Like he did multiple scenes where he's just doing this bit, and I was like, okay, I don't like this Ryan Reynolds. I like when Ryan Reynolds is more just like in your face and raunchy. And so little bits and pieces, I was like, okay, this is kind of annoying. This is not the Ryan Reynolds I like. Even though I didn't have an issue with the movie, I understand why he was doing it for this particular character. I feel like he's done this character before, is what I'm saying. Like he does these bits in some of his other movies. So it was just kind of like,
this is a guy from Two Girls, a guy in a
it's just it's beneath what he's capable of doing.
Absolutely,
it's beneath what Ryan Reynolds is capable of doing. There's no shortage of video game references. Whether it be the games themselves, genres, or actual mechanics.
That was fucking cool.
That stuff I can get behind. I was like, oh, that's cool. I get that. I see what they're doing there. That's cool. But it feels like they're just doing the bare minimum with it. They don't do like anything where like, okay, here's a mechanic, but how does it move the story forward, or how does it impact the story? They're just basically going off and ticking off the boxes like, okay, this is RPG stuff, this is Battle Royale stuff, and people will be able to relate. But infuse it into the actual story. Make it. I mean, there are some elements that do that, but for the most part, it's just, hey, look, we get video games. Cool.
Hey, here's a reference.
There are some decent laughs, but overall not nearly as funny as some of Ryan Reynolds' his better attempts at comedy. But some of the cameos are fucking hilarious. I haven't listed one here, but I'm not going to mention in case some of you haven't seen it yet. There is one in particular where this actor plays a playable character in game. He's the avatar of somebody in real life, and it's absolutely fucking hilarious, the dialogue that he's spewing. I mean, it's really funny.
His cameos, for the record,
are top tier.
One of my all-time favorite comedies, and this might be to give it away, and I don't give a shit, but it's an old enough movie. One of my all-time favorite cameos in a comedy, and one of my all-time favorite comedies, period, is the movie This Is the End with Franco, Jonah Hill, all these guys.
Seth Rogen, yeah.
Dude, his cameo in that movie with Danny McBride was fucking brilliant. Oh, it's so fucking funny. That dude has, and I love when actors like that are super aware of themselves and they're like these poster boys or things like this.
Yeah.
But they don't take themselves seriously and they clown on everything like that. Those are the kind of people that I'm like, that dude's fucking cool. Like that's funny shit. Like
off the top
so
of my
funny.
head, 2 of my favorite cameos ever in a movie.
Hated that movie. What are you talking about?
Channing Tatum's cameo was better in that movie. Like there are 2 cameos that I absolutely fucking love in movies. Kevin Hart in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah. Where
he shows up.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And Justin Long and Zach and Miri Make a Porno.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I mean, those are 2 of my absolute favorite cameos of all time. The one with Kevin Hart, every time 40-Year-Old Virgin's on, I'm like, dude, we got to fucking stop because I know he's coming into the store in a moment. It is absolutely fucking hilarious. 2 of my favorite cameos of all time. Chris Farley had the best cameos. I loved him in, I don't know if it'd be considered a cameo, but in
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison is the bus driver.
Yeah. No, dude. When this is the end. When I saw that in theater, I was, because I love all these guys, and I was like so hype about it. That entire movie, like that is a movie like I could just literally watch over and over and over, and like the movie was already going good, and then all of a sudden you see this dude taking a piss and doing the stuff and seeing like over the breakfast food and it's Danny McBride. I'm like. Because I watch a lot of Eastbound and Down, love Danny McBride and shit
Danny
like that.
McBride's hilarious,
dude. And dude, when he just he showed up and like, oh my god, that's right, Channing Tatum, yum.
I love Danny McBride when he's talking to Jonah Hill. You're an Oscar-winning actor. You need to be more
right.
There were some fatalities.
There was fatalities. Yeah, that whole shit. Yeah, dude.
Kevin Hart wasn't anything big yet in 40-Year-Old Virgin, right? That was seriously before he really took off. That was like a very.
Yeah.
I think he was more stand-up at that time. I think that was before he got into big flicks.
That was before Seth Rogen blew up too.
Yeah, I mean because Seth Rogen was a very small. I mean, it wasn't small. He was hilarious.
But that was
a supporting role.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was before Kevin Hart really took off. He was fucking that whole dude. Every time that comes on TV, I haven't
seen that
watch
in years.
that. I have to watch it. It's seriously one of the funniest cameos I've ever seen. Him and I can't remember the other dude's name. Off the top of my head, but their interaction back and forth in that scene is absolutely aim high, Willis, aim high. Absolutely incredible. I'll post that in the Discord later tonight, you guys. I'll post that cameo.
Cherry, you're gonna have to holler at us because I'm really curious about somebody not saying they don't like this.
She is really.
This is the end. Is
the end.
Fucking hilarious.
That'll be interesting. Hey, Cherry Squishy. Maybe next week you should call in.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good discussion. This is the end. I think I would love to get some callers to call in and talk about some of the movies that Tone hates if they love them. So if anybody wants to talk about Mortal Kombat or one of the movies we'll be talking about here.
Hilarious.
That movie was fucking stupid and annoying. Cherry Squishy, save those thoughts. I'm having you call in next week. Save all your thoughts.
Some of the random deaths in that fucking movie.
No, Cherry Squishy, save your thoughts. No more.
How about
you're calling in next week?
What's his face is fucking drinking juice box and some girl's eating his ass in the bathroom. He's doing coke.
Cherry Squishy, you have a lot of explaining to do. Next week,
so great.
You're calling in. We're getting you in here.
Michael Cera. Yeah. Michael Cera was so funny in that movie.
I would rather watch MK for 24 hours straight. Wow. Can't wait to have you on next week, Cherry Squishy. All right, let's move on. We got a couple more movies we got to talk about. We still have some shows to talk about. It's 10:51. We're getting buzzed up, but we appreciate you guys and girls hanging out with. Seriously, honest to God, thank you guys and girls for hanging out. Love having you guys and girls in the chat. It's the best part. Oh, Tricky Regis going to play it in a watch party. Oh, let's go. Next movie. Let's talk about The Main Saints of Newark. Available now on HBO Max. This, the spin-off movie, a Sopranos story. Tone, I know.
My favorite character right here.
There's Silvio.
Silvio Dante.
Dude,
this dude, I actually, his voice sounded so much like Sil
that
I swear that it was Stevie Van Zandt doing that voice. Listen. You want to talk about this? Do we have it set up for call-ins?
Oh, talk about this? Cuddles, yeah. I mean, shit, man. Let me go ahead. Go ahead and do your part.
So I'll talk about this for a hot minute. So, listen, I really, really enjoyed the flick. I don't know whether or not, and I know we talked about it prior, and I know you're going to talk about it, but it was the same thing I thought was that I really wish this wasn't. It's a toupee, Blanco, smart guy. I really wish that instead of being a 2-hour movie, this was a limited series or like a 3-part or something, because I feel like we could have gotten a little bit more. I knew going into it was going to be a lot about Tony Soprano, and that was perfectly fine. I knew it was going to be a lot about like some of the family and a lot of the other side characters and things like that in that nature, Dickie Moltisanti or whatever. But what I really liked about the movie was the characters, the people that played a lot of these characters. I was really concerned about how well they were going to stick each character.
Mm-hmm.
And very honestly, all but really one did a great job. You can't listen, Michael Gandolfini is the son of the great one. You know, he literally, and we talked about the trailer months ago, me seeing him especially when he's in that phone booth. What'd you say?
Dude, that's every time, we saw it in the trailer and in the movie itself. I mean, the way he turns around and he says, "What'd you say?" I mean, dude, it was James Gandolfini that I saw. I was like, it's an uncanny mannerism.
It's weird. And there's a couple other scenes, and I don't know the one specifically that I'm thinking of, but I know there was one other scene in it where he did something or said something. It was kind of a quip, and it was just like I looked at her and I'm like, yo, that was fucking.
It was not
crazy.
Even those scenes. It was some of the scenes where he was like either confused or disheveled or upset about something that happened. Just the way he would. He
had that real droopy look to his face a little bit.
He was very. It was uncanny. I was just like, man, he's doing it right.
And again, the guy that played Silvio Dante was brilliant. Paulie Walnuts guy. There was a couple of quips. He was doing this a little bit. I'm like, very honestly, the guy here that played Corrado.
Corey Stoll.
Yeah, he was Yellow Jacket.
He was really good as Junior.
Awesome.
Yep.
Clearly Ray Liotta as Ray Liotta was great. The guy that played Dickie Moltisanti, I thought listen, I'm sure he's in something I've seen him before. I didn't really recognize him.
He was previously he's been renowned for like some of his work. Like he does very good work, but this is like I think this is his first big
I thought he was a good actor.
I thought he was really good.
I mean he really was. At the end of the day, Johnny Berthnall here.
This was disappointing.
Yeah, like he's playing
Johnny Soprano.
Johnny Soprano, and he was definitely a big letdown. And she's not in here, but probably. And even though the guy that played Sylvia was a big fan, like the lady, your
Vera Farmiga
that played
Liv Soprano. Yep.
Dude, was
Tony's mom.
Fucking.
She nailed it, dude. She knew what the fuck she was doing.
So the story was a great setup for a little bit of the families and some background. We got a pretty big revelation that ties back to the series. The big thing I thought was really cool was Michael Imperioli. I say that right?
Yes, Michael.
He narrated it. He played Christopher in the original series. That was fucking great. But it brought light to something that I've had a conspiracy theory on for years about the actual death of Christopher's father, Dickie
Moltisanti.
And I was actually right in that there wasn't a whole lot of honesty in how that went down. So
Tony might have been pulling Chris's chains a little bit.
A little bit. So at the end of the day, I really enjoyed this, but I was definitely wanting more because I felt like it would have been better to be fleshed out longer and be able to focus on the characters a little bit better, and to make more sense of some of the stuff. I do feel, though, that the way this ended and all that time frame, and Michael Gandolfini's a young guy, they could seriously, hopefully, depending on how well this does, maybe explore doing another movie or two and really kind of start seeing that rise of Tony Soprano. And I would take that all day. And I will say, the last thing I'm going to say is at the end, it finally happened.
Yes.
It finally fucking happened.
We
heard it. The Alabama 3 kick in.
Yeah.
So.
That dude, when that started playing, I was like, all right, that was dope. One of the greatest like theme songs
absolutely
ever for a fucking show. So, all right, we are going to bring on the man, the myth, the legend, King Cuddles. Let's see if this works. Did I do it right? Mr. Cuddles, are you there? Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear Mr. Cuddles?
Mr. Cuddles.
Hello, hello.
Hello? Can you hear us?
I think they can hear him.
I can hear you.
I think they can hear him.
Can you hear
it? Really excited.
Can you hear Cuddles?
Can you guys and girls hear? No.
Oh.
Dungeon said no? Really? Okay.
Oh, he's doing a bit.
Fuck you, Cuddles.
motherfucker.
Wait, now we can. Okay, all right. Mr. Cuddles, first of all, we missed you, man. I'm sorry we've been gone for 2 weeks. Okay? I'm sorry we've been gone for 2 weeks.
It's okay. I forgive you.
I appreciate you, my man. How is everything going on your end? Everything good?
Yeah, it's good. Everything's great.
Awesome. Now, you have some comments you would like to make about the Many Saints of Newark.
First off, I want to say I'm disappointed in y'all. The main character who played Dickie is actually Pollux Troy in Face Off, who is Castor Troy's brother.
It is Pollux
So y'all
Troy.
know.
It is Pollux Troy.
Holy shit. You just blew my fucking mind. I swear I thought I recognized him, but I'm like,
You
no,
know, and the thing is, I mean, obviously that movie is almost
Holy
20 years old.
shit.
That's wild. That is Pollux Troy. That's fucking wild. Good call, Cuddles. This is why he's the guy in the booth, man.
Whole.
I try.
As soon as
Well
you said
played,
it, I
sir.
went right and looked at the picture and I can see.
Oh,
it
you
now.
can see it right there. You
Yeah,
put the curly
oh
hair and
my
the glasses
fucking
on.
God.
It's fucking Pollux Troy.
Wow.
Good call, Cuddles. Your thoughts, though, on the Many Saints of Newark.
So, I was a little disappointed in this.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because, like, watching the trailers, it made it to be a Tony Soprano
Yes.
movie. It
Mhm.
wasn't.
Mm-mm.
Not that was a bad deal. I agree with Tone. I think this should have been the first 2 episodes of a 5 or 6 episode miniseries.
Yes.
I was kind of let down that they didn't really explore young Tony's perspective, and I would like to see that because acting wise, everybody in this killed their part.
I agree.
They all nailed the parts because me and Tone we just rewatched all the Sopranos not too long ago, so it's still very fresh in my mind. And they killed the parts. Like you didn't even have to say, "Oh, who is that?" Like you knew.
You knew exactly who it was. Yep.
The acting was great. The movie was okay.
Yep.
I felt like it was just a little too rushed.
Mm-hmm.
A little too much going on. Like I said, I do agree. I think it would be so much better as a miniseries. I loved young Tony Soprano's character, or his son.
Yep.
He killed the part, and I really hope they bring more of that in the future and build off of that because I would love to see just a prequel series because there's so much stuff they could do with that show. I mean, there's 20 years missing from this movie to the TV show.
Right. There's a lot of room in there for to really dig into stuff. And let me. I'm just gonna quick share my thoughts on the movie, and we'll get back to you because I do want to get into more of your thoughts because obviously you guys. We all appreciate what The Sopranos were, the show itself. Overall, I thought this was a decent mafia flick. There was the usual tropes you would expect, but this was nowhere near as compelling as the original series. Okay, I thought it was good. It was good, but this is not like something like Goodfellas. This isn't like a Scorsese mafia flick. This felt like kind of like a watered down version of what you would expect from a mafia flick. Because I think that's kind of disappointing. Even though it's a spin-off, it says it. It's a Sopranos story. And when you put that in the title, it better live up to that name. Not only in terms of the characters, but in terms of the story. This has to be compelling shit. This has to be man, what the fuck are they going to do? There are too many one-off scenes in this movie that are more concerned with fan service when they could be focusing on something else. Like, for example, the scene with Artie. We know Artie is the owner of the restaurant, but they spend a whole scene where Tony's talking to him, and finally they address that it's Artie, and we never see Artie again.
Yeah.
These are scenes where you could really be exploring the feuds brewing between the houses. I just didn't feel like, it was really necessary to have certain scenes. I felt and they're more focused on fan service. And Dungeon says he felt it was light on fan service. I felt like they went really hard. You have Chris Moltisanti, who's fucking dead, narrating the movie. That's fan service. You have Michael Imperioli coming back to narrate the movie. He's dead. That's fan service. There's a lot of fan service in this movie. I just felt like they focused too much on trying to deliver that to people. One of the things I did like about it definitely maintains the hardcore violence. When things ratchet up a little bit, it was like, okay, yeah, this is like what I expect from The Sopranos. But at the end of the day, like, I love Michael Gandolfini. I think he does really good as Tony Soprano. But like Cuddles says, they don't really explore a lot of his. And like you, like Tone and Cuddles both say, this would have benefited so much from being a limited series as opposed to a movie. And I gotta believe, dude, with the way HBO's gone with their series, you can't tell me somebody couldn't go to them and be like, hey man, we got an idea for a limited series. And really explore these characters. Because like Cuddles says, everyone here is fucking great. Everyone here is great. It was weird seeing Ray Liotta playing two characters, but everybody is really good in this movie. I just felt like everyone else has said, this just felt rushed because you're trying to squeeze so much shit into 2 hours. That's the most disappointing part of it. I wanted more of it because when I hear Sopranos, I expect compelling storytelling, some really deep shit. You can't get that in 2 hours, man.
Can't. You never can. That's
I mean, am I wrong, Cuddles? Can you really get a lot out of 2 hours?
No, I didn't think so. But to go back on the fan service, I liked it.
I liked it too. I liked it too. I just felt like
a gun through her hair.
Yeah. I mean, I liked that too. I liked it too. But at the same time, I guess it goes hand in hand with the fact that I wish it was more of a limited series because they could have spent more time on, more of the important story arcs as opposed to wasting time on fan service stuff.
I agree, but even like the Chris thing narrating the movie, it started out as this is going to be Tony Soprano movie.
That's true.
It goes back to the fact that it wasn't. I mean,
right.
it started with Chris narrating and it ended with Chris narrating, and it just wasn't like the whole trailer showed it was going to be the rise and of Tony Soprano, and it just wasn't that.
I guess
this was definitely more of a Dickie Moltisanti story.
Well, and I thought they explained it a while ago, so I didn't expect a lot of Tony in this. That said, you're right though, because Michael Imperioli starts at the beginning talking about Tony, and at the end, and that's how that's why I'm in hell basically is because of
Yeah, and I will say with Cuddles, at first the marketing showed this is a Sopranos thing, but closer to launch there is a poster that comes out and it basically says on it the rise of Tony Soprano. So they shifted that marketing to make it sound like this is the focus. Now look, Tony Soprano, you see the motivation, you see what's driving him, you see what's kind of pushing him into what the role he plays in the future.
Right.
But I mean, at first, this was not marketed as a Tony Soprano vehicle. This was, I mentioned it, but it was kind of like, you kind of got from the trail, okay, there's a lot of Moltisanti, this is Dickie Moltisanti. But closer to launch, there is a huge poster that says, The Rise of Tony Soprano, which would tell me, hey, this is all about Tony Soprano. And like Cuddle says, he's an integral part of the story, but he's not the main part at all.
Well, let's hope that they, like I said, they felt like they left it open-ended enough, and there's still 20 years there. Let's do another one or two.
And like you said, Michael Gandolfini, and I'm sure Cuddles would agree. We'll get his thoughts in a second. I think Michael Gandolfini has showed that he can play this role.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we saw that scene. We talked about it. When the guy says, hey, douchebag, or whatever he calls him in the phone booth, and when he turns around and he says, what'd you say to me? Dude, that is James Gandolfini right there. It's jarring. You're just like, holy shit, dude. He's channeling his old man. I mean, what did you think, Cuddles, of like Michael Gandolfini playing his dad's role?
Oh, dude, the grin, the facial expressions.
Yes.
I mean, dude, you couldn't beat it. Like, it was great.
Yeah, it was just
wasn't in there enough. That's still my thing. Like, I'm sitting here, me and Drassen talked about this. Sitting there watching the movie for the first hour, and you just keep seeing young Butterball Tony. And you're like, all right, they're going to skip forward shortly. And then they do. And then he's still just kind of a side character.
Do you think this is where, you think this is where, had it been a limited series, where, if we had 4 or 5 episodes where they could have actually explored that more and said, hey, look, let's give Michael Gandolfini, let's give young Tony Soprano more time to kind of like evolve and spend more time on. I feel like that's where a limited series would have benefited this show.
That's what I was saying. This should have been the first 2 episodes.
Absolutely.
And then, all right, now, Dickie's gone, whatever, and now it's Tony's time. And that should have been the way the rest of the series wrapped up. Like, that's how I would have done it. But
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with you, man. Like I said, it was cool seeing the Dicky Moltisanti story. I thought that was really cool. I agree with Tone. John Bernthal was completely wasted. Like they did just a terrible job with Johnny Soprano. I loved Corey Stoll as Junior. He nailed just the curmudgeon that is Junior. I mean, he nailed that. Like he was great in that role.
Slime ball.
He's a real slime ball, yeah. And it was just, there was just so many things where I was like, man, I wish they would have taken more time to really expand on this. So, I mean, overall, Cuddles, though, I mean, would you recommend it? Would you say this is deserving of the Sopranos a name tag to it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Sopranos fan, I would definitely watch it. I mean, it does show a lot of stuff they talked about over the 6 seasons of Sopranos. I don't know. I just hope they bring more. I'm looking forward to it.
I think Tone means it too.
Yeah.
Well, Cuddles, we appreciate you as always, my man, for hopping on and sharing your thoughts. And anytime any of you want to jump on and share your thoughts on stuff, we would love to have you on. But Cuddles, we appreciate you, brother.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks,
all right,
dude.
man, take it easy. All right, that was King Cuddles. Those were his thoughts on the Many Saints of Newark. I think it was a solid outing. I do think it could have been more. And hopefully in the future, if they decide to explore, again, we know there's a huge gap of time that they can explore between then and now. And when the show starts, I hope to God they go with a limited series as opposed to a movie.
Me too.
So,
yeah, me too.
Awesome. It was a good show. Some strong elements, some weak elements. Shout out to the cast.
It left us wanting more.
Yep. Absolutely. I didn't realize this was a movie. I figured it was a series. No, sir. It is a movie, J Hill. 2 hours. But it's good. It's not horrible. It's not amazing. But now it's time to get to the main event, ladies and gentlemen. The moment y'all been waiting for. Now, look. I watched the first Venom last week. For the first time ever. Crash was shocked. He was like, what? This is the first time you've seen it? It's like, yeah, man, I had to watch it before I go see the new one. I want to know what's going on. I want to get caught up on the story. I want to know what the fuck to expect from Venom, Let There Be Carnage. So I watched the first one on Wednesday. And I walked away thinking, boy, can't get any worse than this. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Venom.
Yes.
Let There Be Carnage.
Let us.
Starring Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson, and a goddamn shame, Naomi Harris. Tone. I'm just going to say it right now. I'm just going to blow through my points.
Okay,
I'm going to go through mine. I'm going to go through mine real quick. First of all, this is worse than the original. This is saying a lot.
Yeah, it's true.
It's worse than the original. Woody Harrelson is wasted as Carnage.
Mm-hmm.
You have a talented actor like Woody Harrelson, and you don't let this dude do his thing on the screen because you want fucking Venom and Eddie to go back and forth instead of letting Woody do his thing? Bad decision. Naomi Harris is criminally underused as the annoying character Frances Barrison. Look, Naomi Harris is a fucking amazing actress.
God, Seven Dungeons. Stop.
She's an incredible actress. And she plays Shriek. She yells. She screams the whole time. Shame on you. The bantering between Venny and Adam was overkill. Should have been funny, but they did it through every single fucking scene. Anytime that any character was going to explain or could have explained something interesting, Venom and Eddie were going at it back and forth. And it was annoying. It's fucking stupid. The finale, like the most of the movie, was loud and stupid. It's a loud movie. It's really loud. This movie sucks. This movie fucking sucked. It was a stupid movie. I walked out of the theater. I was sitting next to Prime during one scene. He was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And I seriously said to Prime, Who fucking cares?
That made me laugh.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah, that made me laugh.
This movie sucks. It's a shitty movie. Now, I'm done. As a fan of Venom and the character and everything that he represents,
Yeah.
Tone. The microphone's yours.
There was a young lad in the
boy.
southwest corner of Saginaw County growing up.
Oh, boy.
Loved comic books. Loved, in particular, Spider-Man. Loved the art and the brilliance of Todd McFarlane, who is the visual creator of so-called Venom here. Longtime fan of Symbiote. One of the greatest comic book runs of all time, which I have almost all singularly, and the trade paperback, thanks to Captain Cronzy, actually, of Maximum Carnage. Was completely enthralled. The video game, remember the video game, the red cartridge on your Super Nintendo, soundtrack done by none other than Green Jelly. anything Symbiote, anything Venom, anything Carnage. Carnage was the guy, right? Okay. Saw the first Venom. First Venom, guess what? It was okay at best.
No, it wasn't.
I appreciate what they were trying to do. Okay? Sony's out there trying to do something cool. We got the rights to
Shame on you,
Spider-Man
Sony.
shit. Yeah.
Sony.
Oh, yeah.
Sony, I mean.
Yeah. So this fucking movie comes out. I'm actually excited. I was actually excited because I thought there was going to be some good link with the end credits. I had some high hope. We've seen a lot of MCU movies come out. There's a formula out there, right? You'd think Sony would take some notes. No, they just want to make a little bit of money. And holy fuck. Listen, there's been very few movies where I've sit in a theater. I've only walked out in one movie my entire life, very honestly. This one crossed my mind. There was a point when it crossed my mind. I was getting so fucking
That's
annoyed.
why you're moving around so much.
I was, yeah. I was very, very, very scared. Cherry, just stop that right now. My first thoughts of this movie, the one word I have for you is trash. PG-13, 90 minutes worth of trash.
PG-13.
That alone. His escape from actual prison that he was in, oddly not Ravencroft, which was Ravencroft, whatever it is, shows already the lack of commitment to the character. And yes, I have some notes, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me.
He's got notes.
Slapping cops and not killing them. That was already like they're going into already that some of the stuff with some of the other things going on in the dialogue. Getting to that point already in the first like half hour or whatever it was just like, oh shit. That tells they already didn't have any commitment to this fucking character and they were just looking for a cash grab. Much like the first, the story didn't allow any of the characters to develop, so you couldn't be truly invested. Some with Eddie, they really tried. And they really did on both movies. But it just wasn't compelling. I mean, they did what they could with Cletus. However, you don't need much to with Cletus, because part of the problem here is that the whole background story of Carnage. And listen, let me say this at least too. I understand from different medias you have to at some point adapt. I get that, especially for a 90-minute fucking movie. Apparently 90 minutes in 2000.
90 minutes.
90 minutes. Maybe it's
not 91.
Must be 1995
not 93,
again. No.
Barely 90 minutes.
Fucking minutes is what we got of this goddamn shit. The early childhood connection with Shriek was completely stupid and useless. You know what we don't always need in fucking movies? We don't need fucking love and drama. Jesus fucking Christ. We need to get that trash out of here. Listen, it fits in the right medium. But sometimes, guess what? It doesn't need to be the main driver for fucking characters, especially characters that never had that as a main driver. Again, I understand they're going to adapt shit, but when you start adapting shit,
if you're going to adapt it, make it fucking meaningful.
Exactly. It distracted once again from this character being as evil a character as Carnage was in the comics. PG-13. Let's not forget that. And I also like to point out the fact that Carnage was originally created, technically, and you can go back and look at the face and how he looks in the early comics. He was created to be Spider-Man's fucking Joker. and you're giving him love as some fucking driver, some early shit. Listen, him and Shriek were basically boyfriend and girlfriend, mommy and daddy of their little soiree and their little family in Maximum Carnage. He literally broke her out of Ravencroft when they were leaving because she was also in this insane asylum. He wasn't even there. He's been on a fucking murdering spree that they can't prove, and he's in some maximum security prison while she's tied up in a fucking room with a bunch of things around her because she's a mutant banshee. And he's always, I just got some bars behind me. The fuck does that eat? Like, that doesn't, again, that shows no commitment to the fucking character, Sony. This character is supposed to be completely menacing. He's a cold-blooded killer with no actual drive. That's what makes these characters pretty fucking crazy nuts. There's different degrees of chaotic evil in some way. You look at Joker, and you can debate that character all the time because there's been so many different mediums of him.
Mm-hmm.
A character like him, we still don't fully know what his driver is because even the Joker movie, we don't even know if that was the true Joker, right? Carnage was just driven by fucking insanity. Again, which shows there was no commitment to the character. Woody was perfectly cast for Cletus Cassidy. Now, don't get me wrong.
Awesome.
He changed his hair about 2 or 3 different times. What the fuck was that all
Weird.
about? But I mean, that's just really nitpicking. I was expecting, guess what? Natural born killers. Because guess what? That's what you would expect from a character like fucking Carnage. Somebody that Woody Harrelson should know how to tap into, except, guess what? He was restricted by shit writing in a goddamn stupid movie. That's not what we got at all, and it's a fucking shame. Was he entertaining? Absolutely. He had his moments. But being driven by Shriek's love once again and all that stupid bullshit distracts from the core character. Distracts from that. Because that's not something that would ever have driven that character, at least early on. The point is that Carnage and the things that he were doing had no fucking rhyme or reason. He goes on, like, listen, in the comics, he goes on mindless murder sprees, just killing children and families, just jumping in Central Park, slashing a couple people dead, and just jumping away and doing whatever the fuck he has.
He's a psychopath.
Right, because he's having a good time. But here again, PG-13 had to restrict us, and he was questing for drama, apparently. Awesome. The stuff with Eddie and the Tom Hardy back and forth, like with Venom and all that shit, it was just hard to understand. Like, Venom was talking over him. The bickering really got old. Like, really, listen.
I feel like that could have been a strength of the fucking movie, honestly, but it was just every fucking moment.
How is this supposed to be a symbiosis if it's just going to be doing that shit the entire time? It came full circle at the end, but you can't tell me that they didn't figure it out at the beginning of the first fucking movie, between the time till we get to this fucking movie, to make it like an actual combativeness with Carnage. Maybe, I guess we wanted the fucking back and forth goofy ass drama. I'm gonna get some nitpicking stuff, but we'll get to some big stuff. The size of the symbiotes were a little too much. They don't get that fucking big. That was fucking stupid. They're not like fucking superhuman tall giants. That was ridiculous. I get it. The symbiote can make you like you're on platform heels. It was completely unnecessary, and it just made them look more fucking dumb because you expanded their size. The Venom symbiote being like all good and fun shit it was doing. After all that time, again, they should have been one. And it shouldn't have waited to the end. That should have happened a lot sooner. It was lame for the separation drama. That shit has happened somewhat in the comics as well too. Like the Venom symbiote becomes more like self-aware, more symbiote, and can do that stuff. But here we go again. Bullshit, useless fucking drama. He goes out on a fucking partying.
Goes to the rave.
Fuck out of here. What kind of trash was that? Listen, I didn't know I was paying for high school drama. Carnage, what made him unique originally in the comics and everything was that he instantly, when the symbiote hits him, they become merged as one. It gets into his bloodstream. Cletus welcomes it because he's insane. He's fucking nuts. It was just completely integrated. That's actually why he's red. Not just, the red one. It was because it integrated into his bloodstream instantly. That was the whole point why he was red. It's the little fucking shit, Sony. This is why the MCU would kick your ass if you keep doing this shit. The action scenes were super meh. The car scene and all the symbiote goo in the middle of the car scene. Okay, there was some explosions, cool, but what was the fucking, like, it just looked like fucking gum on the bottom of his shoe all over. Like, yes, we know, especially like Carnage, the symbiote is a little bit more like moving and like metamorphosis and all this shit. Was that necessary? Why was that even necessary? And at the end of the day, here's the thing. And this is just the pros, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get a couple cons in there for that. Sony, listen, I get it. MCU's out there making money. DCU, listen, you've tried the same shit. There's a formula that works. You might not agree with it. You might not want to wait that long. But guess what? That's what's making the fucking money. I have no idea, Sony, what you're thinking besides just pumping out movie to make money. I don't really know. I really don't. Because you're clearly not doing anything for any of the actual like longtime fans at all. Thank you. With how well the MC movies do, how they're even formatted, presented, how do they think this is okay to showcase to anybody? Very honestly, I want that answered. And that's part of the problem. Also part of the problem is apparently a lot of people like the fucking movie. And that poses a question to me. Are the general audiences at this point, maybe because of the pandemic or just generally because of all this stuff, are we at this point now where we're just getting so complacent with shitty fucking movies, flashy fucking action scenes, subpar effects, that we don't even give a shit about either source material or storytelling? I'm completely baffled at this point. There is it's like there's some lack of either integrity or something. Like we don't care about substance anymore. And I get it. Listen, certain things make sense because that's what they're meant to be. A casual audience or whatever it might be. This is based off fucking source material. We look and talk about Game of Thrones that shits the bed that didn't have any source material, and half the time they're still adapting it. This isn't just like throwing out a fucking Guardians of the Galaxy movie, throwing something to the wall and saying these are obscure characters, let's make a movie, see if it works, and it works. This is fucking, these characters don't exist if Spider-Man doesn't exist. That was the first problem I had with the first movie. You don't see a big fucking spider on Venom because they didn't have all the rights and they were kind of loaning out to fucking MCU. Figure it out. I don't fucking know. Maybe don't make the fucking movie. Maybe just not put it out to say, here's a Venom movie. Like, it's almost like they don't have a fucking plan or they don't care. And I'm literally like, this is very frustrating for me. And the reason why it's so frustrating is because these are, again, similar to some of the other things we've talked about on here. These are characters that were very, very important to the young Tone living out in the rural woods, going to Walmarts or comic book shops when he can and getting comics. Spider-Man and Spawn were my two main drivers, right? And Venom was a big piece of that. Carnage was a big piece of that. And to finally get Carnage in live action, and this is what we get, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself, Sony. You really should be. And listen, if you enjoyed it, guess what?
That's on you.
That's on you. That's on you.
And the reality is, Tone, it's crazy to think about, dude. Not only did this movie have an audience rating of above 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie made more money than Shang-Chi and Black Widow in their opening weekends. This is one of the highest grossing, if not the highest grossing movie of 2021.
Cherry to that, I will say that we're also comparing a comedy that's not taking itself seriously and completely a goofy farce of a non-reality versus something that, at the very least, is trying to take itself seriously and can't land that landing. Here's some pros for you because I'm gonna diverge on this as well too.
These are good.
90 million in the first weekend. Yeah, well, I'm gonna.
It made good money.
I
mean, just Canadian. Yeah. There's no doubting it. I mean, we can sit here and I can sit there and say this movie is trash. Okay, I don't mind saying I don't care. I didn't enjoy this movie. I thought it was shit, just like the first movie. The first movie was not good. This movie was even worse. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters to Sony is it made $90 fucking million its opening.
Here's what I'm going to say to you on that one as well too, Canadian. And again, I'm going to pose the question again about the general audiences just being complacent with shit because it's got flashy effects and it's certain characters. At the end of the day, you take these characters out of this movie, it's still a shitty movie and a shitty story. Elfine. That's just the bottom line of it. Elfine. Here's the pros. I'm going to give you a few pros though too. Venom sounds like Venom. Venom, since the first movie, in my head, that's a pretty good sounding Venom. I really enjoy the sound of him. Some of the jokes are funny. Some of the bits are funny. It's just that and the banter can be good. It's just too much. That's just it. Like,
There's
was
more
too
misses
much.
than hits.
Yeah, it like really almost like overshadows the fact that Tom Hardy's even in the movie. Listen, Carnage looked pretty good. He was almost too fleshy in some ways, which is very also specific. They got some of the weapons that looked right, and honestly, him shooting the things out of him is a very Carnage thing, and that's not something that I don't think either a lot of people realize or know. That was really awesome to see that, because that's something they easily could have missed. So there were some real nice nuances that Sony decided to put in a bag of trash. There was some good nods and call-outs to some other things. Openly talked about the Symbiote Hive, which is awesome. That can go all the way to the Black King and the sword and everything. That can be really deep. So that's kind of exciting because they can explore that, and they'll probably do that, and it'll be trash as well too. I'd like to point out that as once again, my root beer I had that night was delicious. That was a pro, because there was not much else to fucking talk about as a pro. My root beer was fucking awesome. So thank you, Imagine, for once again having root beer on tap. I really appreciate that. Listen, we all know that this was a shit show of a movie to roll into a bullshit. Maybe we all don't know that, and I could care less if you think it's good or not. But I'm telling you right now, it was all a work up and a lead up to the end credit, and that's what
which is by far.
There's not even close. There's
like whenever I hear somebody saying, "Oh, it was a standing ovation when we went and saw this movie," you were standing up to the end credit scene, which would have been fucking amazing had not the preceding 90 minutes been total trash. Look, the end credit scene is fucking dope.
Yep.
It's dope.
And there's a lot to dive into there.
It confirms a lot of this shit that people have been suspecting or conspiracy thinking about, that this is where the MCU is heading. I love the idea of a movie where Tom Hardy is with Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm.
But damn it, it doesn't change the fact that the fucking 90 minutes before that were shit.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw the end credits scene, I was sitting next to Tony and I was like, holy fuck, that's rad. And then it hit me. I was like, oh, but is it really? What have I seen in Venom 1 and 2 that has me fucking hyped about this character being injected into the MCU, other than the fact that maybe Sony won't have anything to do with his future appearances?
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what it is.
Well, the problem is that because this movie was so shit, it made that part almost anticlimactic. Like, it almost, like, it didn't, like, is it a redeeming factor? That could be a debate.
I think it's exciting because the fact that it just confirms what everyone's saying. Cool, the multiverse exists.
Yeah, and
it's wild.
And you're bringing in two circles. You got the Sony MCU they want to build, and you got that.
Cool.
That is cool. That's great.
That's great, but it doesn't change the fact that they have done a piss poor job with
their
Eddie
first
Brock
two.
and the Venom characters.
Right.
Those movies still suck. Cool. The MCU and the multiverse thing further confirmed. Awesome. The movies still suck.
Yeah.
The character still sucks.
You take the characters out, the movie's still a shitty
Eddie
story.
Brock sucks.
Shitty story.
Venom sucks. Carnage sucked. Cool end scene, bro.
Yeah.
The movies sucked.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, again, like, it wasn't a good movie. And you know what, Just Canadian, complacent with shit, you know what? It is what it is. I don't know how often you are able to catch all the shows, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is what we do, is we break down movies. And there's plenty of movies where I say, you know what? I like this movie. It was okay. I didn't care. Like, I try to be pretty objective. However, if it's something that I have been invested on and has a deep lore built for, I don't know, 30 fucking years, I think it's okay to have some expectations, and we should all be doing a little bit better for holding those expectations. We should expect a little bit more. This is fucking Sony. We've got the MCU, which is
Sony's
great.
renowned for fucking this shit up,
MCU
man.
is creating this shit, and we see DC struggling to do that. You would expect maybe somebody like Sony with also a lot of money to come in and do that. So I don't think it's unrealistic to have some form of formality or some form of expectation. Now, listen, I understand that we got to be careful of expectations because guess what? We're going to be let down a lot. That said, this isn't just like some willy-nilly something. They're not, like I said, they're not pulling Guardians of the Galaxies out of some random ass. These are characters based on a long-time standing character. These are beloved characters. So you do have to be a little bit careful when you do these things. You know, and I don't think it's wrong. Like, look at my Mortal Kombat video, for fuck's sake. Like, it's the same kind of thing. This is something that I've been invested in for 30 years. I'm going to take it seriously, and I think it's okay to take it seriously. If general audiences want to enjoy that, that's also on you too.
And I just want to comment to Just Canadian. You know, he said complacent with shit or just out to enjoy a movie and breaking it down. I love you guys, but I don't go through the deep dive into a movie. I just enjoy something. Just Canadian, I want you to know right now, honest to God, I respect your thoughts on stuff.
Yeah.
I respect your opinion on stuff. I will never sit there and discredit you as a person. I'll never discredit your opinion because that would be some bullshit, and that would make this show bullshit. I want you to come in here and share your thoughts. I want you to come here and debate what we have to say, knowing that we respect you, knowing that we respect your opinion, knowing that this is a safe space to lock horns or just share different opinions.
Yep.
Honestly, man, and that's why I love doing this, because I feel like our community knows. Look, like Cherry, she's like, man, this is the end fucking sucks. And Tone's like, what? But at the same time, the mutual respect is there. I don't ever want anyone to feel like they can't have a different opinion than us. Ever. We love the different... Dude, if the world agreed on everything, not only would it be a safer place, it'd be boring. In a way, it would be boring. I know it sounds terrible because, you know, conflict is terrible. But at the same time, there is that middle ground where you can have a difference of opinion. And I will never, ever,
J Hill,
ever discredit somebody for a different opinion. So Just Canadian, I don't ever want you to feel like you can't come in here and be like, look, you guys are full of shit. This movie's fucking awesome. You provide your opinions. You provide why you like it. And I will never sit there and say, you're full of shit. Because I respect you. And I respect everybody that comes in here and counters anything that we say.
But
that's the beauty of doing a show like this. We don't want the fucking hive's mind.
Right.
We don't want to sit there and have everyone be like, yes, we agree. I want people to come out and be like, know what? Fuck you. I want Tricky Region to come in here and say, go blue.
I don't. Ban them.
Not going to ban them. But honest to God, don't ever, anyone ever feel like you have to explain why you disagree with what we say.
Right.
The only way this show succeeds is if there is good discussion.
And what I'll also kind of piggyback that is like, while I understand that they're trying to get general audiences and there's things like that, but everybody else has to understand that there are some of us that are very passionate about things that we enjoy and have loved for a long time. And when you want to be excited about something like this and you're not, it's going to be you're going to take it pretty serious. And that's my standpoint. I am perplexed because we've seen some certain things with movies over the pandemic and certain things and people enjoying some things. When you stop and say, you know what, just from a storytelling standpoint, it's not a good story. Why are people enjoying it? It's quizzical. I'm trying to find that answer. But this is something that I honestly take to heart a lot. This is something I really, really was wanting to be excited about. And I couldn't be because it's absolute trash.
And look, I'm not, and my perspective is obviously, and I'll always tell you guys, girls, this, I am not well versed.
Yeah, King. Yeah.
In the Marvel comics. Yeah. You know, I am not well versed like Tone and many of you. I just know what I know based on the movies I've seen and based on what I've heard. And I will sit there and I will look at a movie and I will say, look, I like this movie or I didn't like this movie. And I will list the ways I don't like this movie or I don't like that movie. Venom, to me, is a bad movie. It's a bad movie. It has poor character development, in my opinion. It has shitty special effects and really shitty battles, in my opinion. That's just what I look for in a movie. I like comic book movies that actually explain the comic book origins. I don't know shit about Eddie Brock. I've seen 2 Venom movies. I know next to nothing about Eddie Brock. I know nothing about Carnage other than they brought in the talented Woody Harrelson and they said, look, bro, you're just going to do what we want you to do. And they don't let him do his thing. And they don't explain shit because Eddie and Venom won't stop bitching at each other. They bring in Naomi Harris, who's an amazing actress. 28 days later, she's fucking Moneypenny in the Bond. Her character, Moneypenny, in the Bond movies has more depth than Frances Barrington in this movie. In my opinion, these are wasted, talented actors in a shitty movie.
Mm-hmm.
And if you enjoyed it, awesome.
Great question, Crash.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you shared why you enjoy it. But I just have certain expectations that are different than yours. And that doesn't make your expectations wrong or mine right. My thing is I don't want Just Canadian to feel like they can't come in here, or anybody, they can't come in here and disagree with us.
No, I'm just going to rain fire on this shit.
He will rain fire. I will verbally question, but respect you. So I love this show.
Fire.
I don't, honest to God, man.
Shit.
If we all agreed on everything, I wouldn't do a show.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do a show. So, Just Canadian, I don't know if you're still out there. We love you. Don't ever hold back your thoughts on stuff. Or anybody, for that matter.
Unless you like this movie.
Knock it off. All right. We're going to move on. This is a good spirited conversation. We have 2 more things we want to talk about. It is 11:40. We are running long, but we appreciate you guys and girls for hanging out. Hang out. We have 2 more things we're going to talk about. Up next, a show that I was really excited about. Midnight Mass series review, available now on Netflix. Starring Katie Siegel, Zach Gilford, Kristen Lehman, Samantha Sloyan, Rahul Khalil, Hamish Linklater, and directed by Mike Flanagan. The director of Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, 2 shows that have done incredibly well for Netflix. And again, he is back at the helm. Midnight Mass. Tone, I know when you were watching Midnight Mass,
Yep.
the beginning couple episodes, you were like kind of predictable, kind of could see where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
Weren't too blown away by it, but I think that's because of the slow burn approach that they took.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, your thoughts on Midnight Mass, sir?
The
Crash.
slow burn.
Good
So
night, sir.
so the slow burn actually, once you get through and start getting to the middle, then you start realizing why that was important. Because it really delved deep into character development. There's definitely some some background stuff that I felt was also done well too. That kind of like makes more of that slow burn make sense. It's really just interesting how the storytelling almost kind of keeps leaving out breadcrumbs for you, but you're so like you're not paying attention to them at all until you kind of turn around and look back. Oh, I've already gone through some of them as well. At the end of the day, this is definitely, as some random guy and me talked about on Facebook, the dialogue in this show was some of the smartest dialogue I've seen in a long time. Or like just involved. Like there are certain characters that when they talk, specifically the priest, and he'll go on like this 10 sometimes like very lengthy tirades.
Very lengthy sermons.
No breath, like almost like it's like one scene. And he just keeps going, and you're like, what is going on? And you're listening to him, you're like, this is fucking crazy shit that he's saying. And it almost in a way, it's funny as somebody who's not like religious, like when you're listening to this shit, you're like, I get it. And he keeps going, and you're like, man, this is really good dialogue. He's almost like a very like a salesman in some way, like a very, very, very like,
which is what often
yeah
compared to.
Yeah. I was really like, there's some dialogue in it that kind of gets lengthy. Some of the characters goes on, and you're like, I don't really care about this character. You just blah, blah, blah. But some of these characters, when they start talking and some of the conversations going on, and you're like, man,
they're
this is
super
something compelling.
integral to the end game, what happens at the end of the show.
Someone needing 1,000 words in the paper just to keep.
Yeah, Panic Game says, I like this show, but man, there was some dialogue.
I agree.
That been cut.
It
almost felt like someone needing 1,000 words in a paper and just.
Yeah. I definitely, and like I said, there's some characters that did that, and I was like, it's got like, I can't handle this part. But when he's talking, when Monsignor's talking, that's when you're really like, oh man.
Oh, you mean Father Paul?
Father Paul. But honestly, at the end of the day, this was a it had a lot of things that I like. Again, good dialogue, good story development, good character development, and then of course the horror elements, which when it starts to ratchet up, fucking don't blink, because guess what? It's ratcheting up. And honestly, like even in the end, and some of the way the characters were evolving or going, or literally too, even in the end. Like how everything ended and came to like a crescendo in a way, and like everybody started having this like realization. Like I didn't even see that coming. Like it's funny because early on some of the stuff was predictable, but then later on it wasn't.
Right.
And I thought that was really fucking great. So yeah, I really enjoy the series. I've been telling people they really need to watch this. I think it's going to be. I can see it being a show that might not everybody agree on. But I thought this movie or the show was fucking awesome.
I think horror is one of those genres where it's really difficult sometimes for people to understand what's going on, or they have certain expectations. And we talked about that with Malignant. I mean, look, I understand. Look, horror is a very subjective genre. It's very subjective. There's a lot of different ways people look at things, the way they expect things, how they expect horror movies to play out. And this show is a very slow burn. But the thing is about Michael Flanagan, the director who did The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, he also managed, dude, there's a movie called Ouija that came out dozens of years ago that wasn't very good. But then there was Ouija, The Origins of Evil, where it talks about, and he directed the sequel, and the sequel is infinitely terrifying than the original. It is widely regarded as one of the best horror movies of the last 20 years. Mike Flanagan has had a huge hand. He did Oculus, he did Ouija, Reborn, or whatever it was called. He did a couple other horror movies in theater. He did, what was the other one that he did recently that drew a lot of critical praise, but it's a sequel to another franchise. Anyways, Michael Flanagan has this stigma around him where he is very good with this horror, but he doesn't do the whole jump scare and, what we would assume from horror. He does the psychological stuff. He does the slow burn. He does the more creepy images than he does the in-your-face, scare the shit out of you. Even though there are some scenes where he gets you. He gets you.
Even me.
But with Midnight Mass, he gets the most, and like he does in all of his other shows, with the Haunting of Hill House and the Haunting of Bly Manor, he gets the most out of his ensemble. And in this show, it's no exception. There's incredible performances from everybody in the entire ensemble, particularly Hamish Linklater, who is Father Paul, and Samantha Sloyan as Bev Keane. Now, look, I know you're a little bit indifferent on Bev Keane. I know you thought she was kind of annoying. She, in my mind, is right up there with the Joffrey Baratheons.
Oh, yeah.
Where you are like,
well, I agree with that.
Fucking hate this lady. The entire show, you're like, I fucking hate her. And when you elicit those kind of reactions from your audience, you are doing something right. You are succeeding at your craft. You're doing a great job. She's a fucking annoying character, but she is purposely trying to be an annoying character. The direction in this show is... Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Panic. Dr. Sleep. You did Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining.
I actually really like that movie.
Another movie that isn't so much about jump scares, but about creepiness. Thank you, Panic. I appreciate that. But Michael Flanagan, in this show, it's excellent direction. It's taught all the way through. And the thing that I like about Michael Flanagan that he gets out of his performances and what he does more than most other directors, and you'll notice this in this show, in the first episode, especially the second. There's obviously other scenes in the the ensuing episodes. He is able to get some incredible single take scenes. Now look, if you've been a fan of movies or if you've ever been in theater, you know how difficult it is to go through a monologue. It is not easy to remember all of your lines through an entire scene. And you can tell this in movies. If you're watching a movie and there's a conversation between two people, and if it constantly cuts back and forth, you know, I'm talking to Tone, and it cuts to Tone's face as I'm talking, and then it cuts back to my face. Those are cuts. Those are edits. Those are different takes. In this movie, in this series, you will see multiple moments where there is 5-6 minutes of dialogue, and there's no cutting.
It's fucking wild.
That is not easy, my friends.
Wild.
That is talent on the director's side, and that's talent on the actor's side. In the first episode, there's a scene where Aaron and Riley are walking back to Riley's house or Aaron's house, and they're talking along the road. Not once in about 4.5 minutes does the camera cut away to show a different angle, to show them walking down the street, to get a different perspective. It is solely on them. That is fucking talent. In the second episode, at the very beginning, the beach scene where all the cats are on the beach, and the camera is constantly following the sheriff and other citizens up and down the beach. If you watch that scene again, it does not cut away from the actors. That takes an incredible amount of skill, not only as the actor or as the director, but as the actors involved. People are shifting in and out of the scene. Not once does the camera angle change. Not once does it look from a different perspective. That is fucking talent. The ensemble in this show are incredible. The performances are incredible. The direction is incredible. It's talented as fuck. And sometimes people forget that. To carry out a 7-minute opening on a beach with multiple characters, the camera moving back and forth up and down the beach, and people stepping in and doing their lines without a cutaway, which is typically a sign where they had to cut that scene and show something else from a different angle. That's fucking amazing production value. That's amazing talent. So amazing production, amazing acting. It's a slow burn. It definitely is. But it's a welcome change when there's rich dialogue between characters. Yes, some of it is a little long-winded, but a lot of it is integral to the story.
A lot of payoff.
A lot of it comes around at the payoff at the end. And that's important to me. I like that in a movie, whether it be horror or anything. And it's got great pacing throughout the whole show. And it's excellent pacing for a horror. In the way that he places the horror elements early on. Yes, the first couple episodes we talked about, they're slow burns, but there is placement for horror that is really effective. And the last 2 episodes, he leans into that horror big time, and it delivers. This is seriously one of the best horror shows I've seen in a long time. Mike Flanagan is a talented fucking director. The cast that he constantly brings in, he gets the most out of them. Midnight Mass is seriously one of my favorite experiences this year.
I would agree with that.
And I apologize for going off, but I have such a respect for the amount of talent and the amount of effort it requires to go through certain scenes. And some of the themes that they touch on in this show are so dark and gritty in the way that people deal with trauma and loss. This is a brilliant fucking show. Midnight Mass is a brilliant show. And if you have Netflix, You should definitely check it out. And we want to get your thoughts. If you watch it, sound off in the comments on YouTube. We want to hear your thoughts on it. I thought it was a brilliant show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved it.
Good stuff. So we want to get your thoughts on that. Tone, it's 11:52.
Yep.
Going on the 3-hour mark.
Yep.
Let's wrap it up. We have one more topic we want to talk about. And obviously, this is not a small topic. We have missed 3 episodes to discuss What If. But we're not going to drag it out. We're going to talk about the final episode. We're going to talk about the series as a whole. Tone?
Yeah.
This final episode was fucking nuts.
Yeah, I really... At one point, I want to think that I thought it might go in this direction, everything converging. But I still didn't expect it or think it was really going to happen at all. And it kind of did, and it still caught me by surprise. The entire series overall was very, very what you'd expect, I guess, kind of wild, very unique. I like the exploration of the different story angles. Some of them were better than others.
Yep.
I feel like what was the one that a couple of them, I know other people kind of liked when it came to the zombies. I was like, I'm not really feeling that one.
Yeah, some episodes were deeper than others.
Some, and this, the way it converged and everything like that, and how it was almost like you almost kind of knew the watcher was going to somehow get,
you knew he was getting involved, yeah.
To not, in case you haven't seen it yet, since it's just come out today, but they definitely, like, just overall, I did not see a name coming up, like, we're this name, these are the characters involved, and this is what you got to do. Because the last 3 actually kind of linked together. It started like all being separate stories, or we all thought they were, and then the last 3 had a singular, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Link in them. I don't know, like a character that kind of brought them all together, and then it just all of a sudden, like, the last 2 just, whoop, here we go, like. Everything that just happened in the last 7,
I felt like that was like the most like I don't want to say fourth wall breaking, but it was just really cool how like
I didn't either, Jay.
Everything played as like separate episodes, but then when you got to those last 3 or so, you start to see the dots connecting, and you're like, oh shit, these last
they're
ones
converging.
Related.
Yep, and then the last week's episode completely like said, well, everything that's happened, flip the tray, because guess what? Here we go, and it got fucking cool, and it was a lot of good calls to the original Age of Ultron, not only the movie but also the actual comic. There was, it was supposed to be, turns into this omnipotent being. Some people was like, it's weird he pieced out Thanos.
I agree with Panic, a much better Ultron.
Oh yeah,
sweet Ultron.
Yeah, absolutely, much more what you would expect from Ultron, not doing James Spader bits.
Which is a shame because James Spader's fucking awesome.
I didn't mind him being Ultron.
Just shitty material.
It was the writing for him, and honestly, he didn't sound robot-y enough.
Yep.
He sounded James Spader.
I do wish it was James Spader in this show.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, which is true. So overall, though, I thought the series was awesome. It was very unique. I don't think anybody expected a lot what happened into it. Especially, again, that we thought they were going to be singular episodes, but they all end up intertwining. And honestly, how does that look, and what does that impact for the MCU? We've talked about that a few times. Can we still see Captain Carter maybe in Doctor Strange?
I
Theoretically
hope so.
could. That'd be dope. You know what I mean? The evil Doctor Strange played a bigger part in it than we thought, which was kind of wild, and continues to. So he found some sort of random redemption. So yeah, I thought Gamora, by the way, was just out of nowhere, was weird. Like, we got nothing out of her from the last episodes, and all of a sudden, here's Gamora. Like,
she's a huge part of it.
Yeah, that was really fucking weird. But again, I really want to know how this is going to affect the MCU. Like, what are these things that can potentially create waves in the MCU that affects? If anything, what it does is it gives everybody the open-mindedness and the thought process that anything legitimately at this point in the MCU going forward is possible.
Panic says, I was wondering that too. Will this actually tie in somehow?
I definitely think
no
so.
way this doesn't tie
I think
in.
it's really going to tie in. It's going to get you really kind of thinking mostly. I think this is another, just like Loki was a setup, this is a setup. I think it's going to get you ready for Spider-Man and for Doctor Strange both, because now at these points, these other prequels, we'll say, or stepping stones to this, are going to be hitting these other movies and giving you reason and thought process why. So if we see Tobey Maguire, if we see Garfield in Spider-Man, you're not going to go, well, that's fucking weird. Now you're going to have kind of a good idea of why that could possibly happen and that anything is possible.
Do you think, with what we saw in this episode with the evil Doctor Strange and what have you, I mean, everything keeps pointing back to Strange.
Yeah,
you look at the Spider-Man trailer, it's pointing back to Strange. You look at even WandaVision, there's hints, with that scene in the mountain when they're pulling up, you see that thing floating down from the mountain. People are like, "Oh, that's Strange," in like some weird form. And then you see Strange is playing a big part. I was thinking, man, could Strange be the same? I'm trying to think of how to word this. The same central point that Iron Man was in the first Iron Man to the whole MCU to get things started. Is Doctor Strange to the MCU now that Iron Man was to the MCU when they first started?
I think so. I think because at the end of the day, because I think I talked about that tonight too before we got on the show, is that Doctor Strange is a very common denominator.
He's the integral part. He is the piece.
And we've been saying on this show for at least a year that, we want to see cool stuff with the Spider-Verse or Spider-Man, but it's all setting up. Everything's kind of teeing up and getting ready for the multiverse of madness. So, yeah, I definitely think that he is kind of going to be like the big flag carrier, the big name. It's Cumberbatch, you know what I mean? Strange is one of the most powerful characters in the comics and in the MCU. He's the Sorcerer Supreme or soon to be or whatever that looks like. So, yeah, it is definitely going to be him. He's going to be a big piece of this. And, I just think, again, like all this stuff that's going on, once we get to Spider-Man, see what that's going on, that's going to be crazy, nuts, and exciting. I try not to put too much high expectations of things, but I am with that one. Again, Spider-Man, right? But once we get to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I think it's really gonna just like kick some fucking shit. Like,
I'm excited for Spider-Man, obviously, but I mean, if you look at the parallels, if you look at the comparisons, you have Robert Downey Jr. when he signs up as Iron Man. He's this eccentric character. He's smart. He's brilliant. He's kind of like flamboyant. He's just kind of crazy, out there, unpredictable. And then you look at Benedict Cumberbatch, talented actor. His character, very much like Tony Stark. Incredibly smart. A little, maybe sometimes careless with things. That's what I see. I see Tony Stark in Doctor Strange. And I feel like that's like kind of like what they're going at. Like, look, you're going to be the face of
I kind of got
the
to
MCU
think so.
in this next phase. I mean, we've seen Shang-Chi, not a well-known character. I liked his character, but is he the face of the MCU? Maybe not yet. Black Widow's gone. Thor is there. Thor's still in the play. He's obviously a very personable character. Everyone can relate to him. Everyone likes Thor. But, I mean, for the most part going forward, we don't have that one character who ties it all together. And you saw that relationship between Strange and Iron Man in the last couple of movies. There was that kind of like that, hey, look, I'm this, you're that. And I just feel like that's kind of like what we're getting at. Like, Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be the next big face of the MCU.
Be cool with that.
And that's kind of
what that's kind of what I'm wondering. And even if he's not maybe like the long standing, he's definitely going to be a big part in spinning the Phase 4. That's I think at the end of the day.
But it's sad that with all this Marvel stuff, people still don't know who Jack the King Kirby.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Do you think they're going to bring another character to bring together or use existing characters? I mean, who else? I mean, obviously we got Blade coming at some point.
They've got
so
many characters.
I feel like right now Strange is the one that's going to get everyone together. I feel like everyone's going to look to Strange is like the next senior person in charge.
Yeah, I feel like
with Cap out.
That would make the most. I mean, honestly, it makes the most sense. He's one of the most powerful characters.
He's brilliant.
He's hanging out with another one of the most powerful characters. There's rumors Loki might be involved somehow with them too. And the three of them have done stuff before in like comics, So I mean, he's in Spider-Man. I mean, it definitely. Yeah, you're definitely seeing that common thread. So he was big into this. I feel like they're kind of that's definitely a MCU thing. So
it's gonna be crazy to see where it's going, dude. We got, and now we heard rumors before the show that before Eternals, we may see a trailer for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Fuck me in the goatees.
And Eternals, we're a month away from that.
Yep, and we got also about a month away from Hawkeye, too.
Month away from Hawkeye. We got a lot of stuff going on in the MCU. It's exciting times. But Tone,
Yep.
this has been a monster show. We appreciate those of you who have been able to stick it out and hang out with us. We know it's 3 hours. This is not going to be the format going forward, but we haven't been on for 2 weeks. So we had a lot of shit to talk about, and y'all had a lot to say about certain stuff. So we appreciate those of you who have been able to hang out for the entire show. We appreciate everybody that stopped by at some point and hung out. Appreciate the King Carlos for calling in and talking about the many saints of Newark. Tone?
Yep.
What's going on your end? Any plans this weekend? What are we watching?
The MCU game.
The Squid
MSU
Game?
game.
Watch the
Probably
Squid
gonna try to
Game?
watch Squid Game. Watching the MSU.
MSU Rutgers.
Yep. Is that a
Oh.
day or night?
It's a day game.
Good. I can get drunk in the middle of the day.
Bingo. So we'll be watching Squid Game on Netflix. Movie wise, what do you think? Green Knight, maybe?
Is anything about? No, I wasn't liking it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? We don't know. We have no idea what the fuck is going to be next week's show. We don't have we don't have. I mean, what do we? Other than Squid, Midnight Mass is done. We have no movies to watch.
Is anything gonna come out this weekend?
We won't know until the weekend gets here.
Okay. Well.
Well, hey, tell you what, you should be in our Discord. Ooh, James Bond. Fuck, I forgot all about it.
It's next week, isn't it?
Oh, it drops Friday.
Oh. Does it?
Yeah. Maybe on Sunday when I'm working, when they're doing their thing down here, maybe I should go see that.
I don't know what I'm looking at, but I might go with you.
Let's go. Let's go Sunday.
I'll have to figure that out, but I might be able to.
Now remember, you gotta get all your viewings in. You gotta watch the other ones.
I'm not gonna have time.
Okay, yes,
got time
James
for shit.
Bond. We will be talking about. We will go see No Time to Die this weekend. We'll talk about that. We will talk about Squid Game and whatever the fuck else happens between. We'll talk about Metroid. We'll definitely talk about Metroid Dread.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about Metroid Dread. So we'll have some stuff to talk about next week for sure. So that's it, dude. That's it for tonight. We're going to go to bed. It's 12 o'clock. Y'all need to go to bed, get some sleep. Appreciate each and every one of you hanging out tonight. For Fanboytone, I'm the Dude79. It's been another episode of Banter and I just butchered that. I am slurring. This has been another episode of Banter and Babble. We'll see you next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, everybody.